This is Joe Castello's WFO Radio Ignition, covering everything that has wheels, an engine, and a driver.
The reason I race is to get the chicks. You know what I mean?
NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, sports cars, and NHRA drag racing.
Hey, guys, just want to let you know, WFO rocks.
WFO Radio is total motorsports.
It's just so cool.
Fasten your seatbelts, fire up the ignition, and drop the hammer.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now, here's your host, Joe Castello.
WFO, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to WFO Radio Ignition. We are a podcast. We cast on the pods, and I think you will enjoy it. If you're an NHRA Nitro listener and you've decided to come over here, well, that's good. And if you just are browsing the Apple Podcasts or wherever you happen to browse, that's good too. Welcome and hello. And let's welcome Giovanni in Miami into the program.
Well, all right.
There
In
he is.
studio,
In
back
studio.
in my seat, the co-pilot seat.
Yes, last week you were out there on the Skype line, and it actually turned out pretty well.
Yeah, it turned out to be a pretty humorous show.
People liked it. People enjoyed. And
I enjoyed it. I heard it back the next morning, and I thought it was wonderful.
I really wish we did a little better with pulling the promo material. Folks need to know.
Yeah, your producer sucks.
Yeah, no, he is. But it's not unique to this particular producer. In the past, I have had producers also fail me in this way. For those, it's just, look, I get it. I get it. When the show is going, and I wasn't the best at it at first either. When the show is going, you got to have a keen ear for the thing that's funny, that's maybe a minute long. Like you and your glasses when we were mocking you about your glasses last week. Everybody
specs.
loved that, the reading glasses, because everyone can relate to their reading glasses getting stuck in their hair. And when I did my time on the Neil Rogers show in Miami, I learned that. How to find the clip of audio that's going to be a promo, that's going to be a piece, the thing, the little drop, the little thing. I've learned that. And doing it as the host is impossible because you're supposed to be flowing and thinking and going on. That's what the producer is for. And more importantly, once the audience identifies that the producer cannot do it, the audience should really be doing it. And we should be getting weekly emails from the audience. This was funny. And then Giovanni will go back in and clip it out and make the promo. And so instead, think of suddenly we don't have to run commercials and stuff all the time.
Why aren't you doing this for us?
Exactly, for you. Remember this cool funny moment that happened. Remember this cool funny moment that happened. And eventually you have a library of great funny moments as promo. And unlike radio, they don't have to be 15 seconds or 30 seconds. It can be 47 seconds on our platform because we don't care about such things. But we move on now. We move on. So what a weekend. The Roval, the Bank of America Roval 400. We're going to talk about this. Ryan Blaney wins the race. But the real discussion and debate is all about Jimmie Johnson. And we will save that because we're going to delve into that hard. But the Roval itself, I have some thoughts and opinions. Like, wow, it was something. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it positive? Was it negative? We're going to get into all of that. We are even considering opening the phone lines. We're going to do that.
No,
yeah,
are we really?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Doesn't mean we're going to get a call.
Generally, it does. I feel like we get at least one when we send out the bat signal.
And that's all that it takes is one. I don't mind. I don't mind if we get none. That's not what it is about. It's about the audience knows that if they want and they see that signal that they get because they've downloaded the WFO app and enabled push notifications, the number goes out there and they can call in the show.
Very good.
Yes, it is good stuff. Formula One, Lewis Hamilton. That's it. He's the champ. It's over.
Yeah. I mean, it's beginning to appear that those races that Vettel made those mistakes and didn't bring home a victory, that he pulled defeat from victory, are going to cost him a championship because this championship should be neck and neck between Lewis and Seb if it wasn't for all those unforced errors.
Simple as that. Unforced errors. It's horrible. But at the same time, I don't feel that badly losing to Lewis because he's one of the greatest of all time ever on one of the great teams of all time ever at the peak of their being right now. So it's just their time. What can you do?
No, totally agree. Much like the team that was Honda and became the Russ Braun team that
yes,
they won a championship because they were able to work on the next year's stuff, and there was a change in
blown diffuser.
There was a change in the regulation. Well, Mercedes was able to take advantage of the change to the V6 turbo unit.
Yes,
and has dominated this era.
Just owned it. And they have got Lewis Hamilton, who maybe people don't understand that he is genuinely one of the greatest, most talented drivers to have ever done it. Started off as a child in karts and is as great as anybody. And so Vettel and he are what? Equal, if we're talking about 100%, they're both, one's 99%, one's 98%, one's 97%, Vettel's 97 and Lewis is 99. Certainly Lewis handles the pressure moments a little better than Vettel.
I was going to say, I feel like if Lewis is a little bit more of a tactician, that he's not prone to error, where, he's more of a machine. I think Vettel makes mistakes. I generally don't feel that we've ever witnessed Lewis making mistakes like that. Not in the way that, him and the former driver before the Finn.
Jenson Button.
No, Gray's favorite driver, Nico. Him and
Rosberg.
Nico were at it and both wrecked each other out and had that kind of mistakes. But I feel that was more of a trying to be the alpha dog, kind of showing that who's the boss. And they inadvertently wrecked each other out. Kind of, I don't know, Vettel kind of makes mistakes like he gets hot-headed almost, and he's trying to make up for a mistake and ends up wrecking himself and putting himself in a bad spot.
So many different things with Max Verstappen, expecting
everything.
respect.
I mean,
he's
been run over by Kvyat a couple years ago, and
weird stuff that's maybe not even his fault, bad luck.
That's some of it, but this year I feel like he's made mistakes, and we haven't seen that from Lewis in that championship run of his.
And in the end, car to car, the Mercedes is still better.
Yes,
and that's it.
It looked like we had a slight advantage, but I think Mercedes.
Well, we might have a slight advantage on certain tracks.
On certain tracks.
Right, and so there it is. That's it. You're getting the Ferrari fans are we're resigned to the fact. Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes going to win both championships. Now, they did orchestrate the finish, but it doesn't really bother me that much.
It doesn't bother me as in what happened. I feel very badly for Bottas. Like, he deserved that win. He was on the pole. He was clearly faster. Like, the team should have thrown him a bone. I mean, yes, I get it. A 50-point lead is better than a 43-point lead.
Right.
But a 43-point lead where, even if Vettel were to win the next 5 races, if Lewis comes in second, there's nothing Vettel can do. He's still not going to – the math isn't there. He's not going to be the champ.
Well, that's what they want to do. They want to lock it down, and then they'll let Bottas win whatever.
Hopefully. But, I mean, first of all, he won here last year. It was his first victory. And clearly he knows his way around this track. I just feel like they could have let him have it. And they still would have been 1-2, and the cars would be 1-2 in the constructors. It would have, yes, they would have had a 43-point lead instead of a 50-point lead. But I feel that with the 5 races to go, that's really not going to matter.
Inconsequential.
It
hopefully,
would take Lewis not scoring points in multiple races for it to really be an issue.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into that a little bit later. And Sports Collision. The Miami Dolphins are no longer talking Super Bowl, folks. Gotta tell you. But I didn't see all of this because on Sunday, it was a very busy weekend. Okay, like last Thursday night, I went to the new Hard Rock Stadium and saw the University of Miami Hurricanes destroy the North Carolina, what are they?
Tar Heels.
Tar Heels. Destroy just a humiliation. The turnover chain came out 6 times.
They had even put it away because the last turnover came in at the very end of the game with maybe less than 2 minutes to go.
They had to get it
out
of the box.
And they had to go search for it in the big crate.
We'll talk about that. I'm sure if you're a listener from around the world, down under, you don't even know what the turnover chain is. We'll talk about it. It's a funny thing. It's a funny thing. It's a gag. It's a Miami thing. and it's very laughable. I can totally see a lot of people like being put off by it, but you just got to understand what's up, and I'll explain that to you. Had a great game, loved the stadium, had a great time out there, really cool. Then Friday went and saw another big sporting event, the Giovanni's son Gray baseball.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they came up a little short.
You did. You're bad luck. The team was undefeated until you showed up.
It's too bad. They were behind, and then they got ahead, and then they fell behind, and then they came back, but they came up short.
Yeah, we did.
Great back-and-forth game, though.
That's it. It is. That's
Saturday night, went to a funeral, as I mentioned last week on NHRA Nitro, for Gary Bird.
You look like you're going to a funeral.
Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I am. And it was terrible, and it was sad, but, as someone who is suffering, we don't talk religion, but it's not about that. It's about, is there something else? Yes or no? Is the light switch just off? Well, if the light switch is just off, then it doesn't matter because the light switch is off and it's over. Is there something? Is there something beyond? Is there something better? I like to think that there is, and I'm hoping that my friend is in a better place. And then on Sunday was the big Miami Hollywood Speedway reunion / car show / Hall of Fame induction, which turned out to be much cooler than I even expected. It was fantastic, and just so many wonderful people, and everybody posted a video on my Facebook page and shared it on the WFO Radio Facebook page, and everyone is commenting, and it's tremendous. I mentioned that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. What I did not know is that NHRA legend and champion Darrell Gwynn was the one who gave my induction speech, I guess, who inducted me. And it blew my mind. It's like, wow. And the first person inducted was Jungle Pam. And the second person inducted was Joe Castello. And that doesn't make any sense to anybody. That's just not even. But these people claim to have reasons. And they made some Darrell Gwynn stood up there and he made some very competent reasons why they felt like I belong in there. And I'm just humbled and amazed. And we had a plaque around here somewhere.
What did these guys do with it?
Yeah, I think it was taken. It's gone now. It's over.
Yeah, I almost had to hit Big Dave over the head with it. But you're right, I do not see it.
Oh, I see it. It's on the floor. It's over there in that pile of stuff.
I see it. It's not on the. It's leaning on the wall.
It's tilted against the wall. As so many things here in the WFO Radio studio, we need to finish out the decoration, the decorum on the walls. I need to put up stuff so then we can begin and our Facebook Lives again. But,
yes.
There's nothing on the walls. It doesn't look that great. We
have this great Haas Formula One team flag.
Yes, and the Hall of Fame thing. And I've got this big mellow yellow banner, which I kind of was thinking I want to put that in the race car trailer, but maybe it could go up there. But, maybe mellow yellow would have to pony up for that. That's the kind of thing. I don't know. That's a lot. That's
top
specific
signage
placement. But regardless. So we got a lot to get into. We're going to get into the Fantasy League results. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into NASCAR results. But what I want to tell you about here right at the very beginning, is we have these big sponsors, is audible.com/WFO Nitro. And Giovanni and I were talking about how it's great to know that the WFO universe out there understands what the show is all about. And when the folks at audible.com did I say WFO Nitro? I meant WFO Ignition. They have given us 2 different promo codes, which Gio and I are lamenting the fact. We really wish we could be driving everybody to the same place.
Absolutely.
But an oversight has occurred, and it is audible.com/WFO Ignition, which Nitro has more listeners. But I think the Ignition listeners care about us more. Do you understand?
I certainly do.
Yes. The Ignition listeners, they like Joe and Gio and the crap that we're peddling. The Nitro people do not care about me or anything that has to do with me personally. It's about hearing the stars of the NHRA, and I totally get that. And so we have 2 different promo codes, and I really don't know exactly how it's working. But what I do know is that Audible.com has free apps for iPhone, Android, and Windows Phone. And unlike a streaming service or rental service with Audible, you own your books. You get access to your library anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone. And if you don't like it, you can swap it. They've got a great listen guarantee. As listeners, podcast listeners, you guys understand what it's like to have your mind activated by audio, conversation, a story, a great book. And that's why membership includes one free audiobook a month, exclusive sales, 30% off all regularly priced audiobooks, and they've got content that's unmatched anywhere, including audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, all kinds of stuff from leading publishers. And one of our great listeners out there has even compiled a list of things that he has listened to using audible.com/WFO Ignition, and there are a couple, like Rush to Glory, the story that inspired the movie Rush with James Hunt and Niki Lauda, right, who is still with Mercedes. And his health, he had a health problem pretty recently. Go Like Hell, the story of the Ford GT40 program. Driving Like Crazy, 2009 book by P.J. O'Rourke. This is all stuff you can listen to while you're doing over the phone, over the road, all of that. The Limit tells the enthralling story of Phil Hill, a lowly California mechanic. I got to check that one out just to see how lowly is, who becomes the first American-born driver to win the Grand Prix championship. All kinds of things. Homo Deus, right? Like Zeus, but with a D. A Brief History of Tomorrow. Our final, invention, artificial intelligence, and the end of the human era. Which, that one is very interesting to me. And I'm deciding more and more now I'm against the artificial intelligence.
Yes, me too.
We should stop it. Like, limit it. Like, put the brakes on it. Because we have to start from scratch and learn and pass on, and it's too hard for us. Whereas the computers, they got it way easier than us. They just know. And you can just copy, paste. Now that next computer knows. Too easy. Till we can start copying and pasting everything that somebody knows, I think we should ban it. Or at least slow it way down. Way down. Audible.com/WFO Ignition. And big thanks to them for jumping on board with our little motorsports podcast. Hopefully everybody will sign up and try the free trial. And let us know how it is. And give me a list of books that you listen to.
I actually have the app because I purchased a book that someone recommended, some kind of self-help kind of crap. And
yes,
unfortunately, I don't know if this is the case of all of them, but the actual author is the one who read the book.
Yes.
And I couldn't deal with the author's accent, and so I changed it back right away and got something else.
They should have professionals. You couldn't handle their voice.
I could not.
That
I
happens.
could not handle their voice.
That happens. That's a thing. People can't
Which is
handle
weird because I
voices.
could deal with your voice, but
not only that. Listen, it's purely subjective. There are people that when I speak, they cannot stand it. And there are people when I speak, they like it. And you just don't know. And it's just the same. You know what else is like that? Your face. You know, there are people that just look at your face and they just can't stand your face. They can't stand your face. Not you.
I can't
rhetorically.
relate to that.
I'm speaking rhetorically. And for whatever reason, and you're the nicest person, and everybody loves you, and all your friends love you, and your family loves you, and you're kind to animals and kids, and people hate you for reasons that they cannot explain. It's just the way it is. It took me a long time to understand that. What do you mean this person hates me? How is that possible? I go out of my way to try to be nice to everybody, including this person. They just hate you, man. They just hate you.
that's okay, though.
But why? Now, older in life, now I get it.
Yeah, I generally am indifferent as to whether people like me or not anymore. As a matter of fact, I think it's much better when they don't. That way I don't have to interact with people.
Well, exactly. Neutral. Exactly. Just move on. So there you go. And we've got other sponsors I will tell you about. I want to get everybody hyped up about the big Road Axe meetup. And if you're going out to the Texas Motorplex, going to get into that. But we got to dive into this Roval. We got to dive into the Roval. We're going to spend a couple segments talking about the Roval. First off, I'm going to give you results. If you did not see it, I watched on a screen at a bar while the car show was going on. I did not see all of it. I did come back and watch. And a couple of things. One, I thought it looked visually stimulating and pretty spectacular, like the paint in the track. And I give them...
Yes, all the red, white, and blue
the
paint
red, white,
and all the stuff looked very, very cool.
Yes. My initial impression was it looked like the cars are going a little too slow.
Okay. I'm not sure if I got that, but I know what you mean.
Of the cars from turn to turn, the way they were shooting it with the cameras to me, it looked kind of slow. They're going from here to there, but I got over that real fast. Okay, I got over that. Everybody crashing, all the crashes, all the multi-car crashes, guys locking up.
We saw it in practice and qualifying. It was just a wreck fest out there.
Yeah, it really was a wreck fest. Some big dramatic moments, clearly the end, but then even Kyle Larson transferring while crashing into everything.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I tried to show Carlos that, and they missed most of that in the first run on TV. They stayed focused like, look at Ryan Blaney, he's your winner. Look at Ryan Blaney doing the cool-down lap. Look at Ryan Blaney.
Right, and they didn't realize what was going on in the back of the field there that the 96, Jeffrey Earnhardt.
Was stopped on the track.
He wrecked also, and he was the last car on the lead lap. Well, he was before Kyle Larson.
Yes, Kyle Larson had to pass him within a couple hundred feet.
And then he wrecked right before the start-finish line, and then we tried to get going, and I guess he stalled it.
Yes.
And Larson came through, and he was wrecking the whole corner and all through the S's and wrecked almost right into Earnhardt.
It was very spectacular.
It really was. It was very dramatic, actually.
Very dramatic. Now, maybe Earnhardt someone got on his radio, and we'll never know about it.
No, we would know because that kind of whole thing over the radio.
Maybe they got a back channel.
Caused a big problem before with Clint Boyer and Truex Jr. and everybody.
Back channel, just stay there.
But are they? I don't know. Do they have any kind of relation? Why would they do that?
Well,
we would have to know more information.
I just leave the possibility open.
Anything is possible. Yes.
Well, who does Larson drive for?
Ganassi.
And what was Ganassi? What team was it before Ganassi bought it?
Okay, it was DEI. Well, he bought DEI's stuff, correct.
And who is the driver that was stopped?
It was Jeffrey Earnhart, but does he drive for DEI?
No, there's no such thing as DEI anymore. It's owned by Chip Ganassi.
Right, but that there's maybe Ganassi. Right, I get it.
There might be connections there that we just fail to understand.
Yes, there could be something, but
really, Jeffrey Earnhardt just doesn't care. The car wouldn't fire. Just wouldn't fire. And Kyle Larson crashes into the wall. Crashes into that wall.
It almost seemed like if he was waiting for him to let him go by.
And then crashes into this next wall and then grinds along the wall and takes the stripe. And then Jeffrey Earnhardt's just like, look, my, noticing and wondering about things, antenna, is up in situations like that. But I'm not against it. Like, my thing is, if, in fact, what I said is true, Jeffrey Earnhardt is stalled out on the track and they told him not to refire it because I'm okay with it. Here are the results. Ryan Blaney picks up the win from third to first in the final corners because Jimmie Johnson and Martin Truex crashed, and Truex smashed Jimmie after on the cool-down lap and all that stuff. But Ryan Blaney is the winner, and let's hear from him. Winner.
Kind of the strategy for the race was, really don't give up stage points and try to maximize on that side of it. And we did a really good job of the strategy of being able to win that second stage and stretch it on fuel and win that stage. That was really big for us. That kind of set up our whole day. Even though we had to go to the back and pit again, we were able to kind of put ourselves in a spot to where towards the end of the day we were just racing the 88 and 14, and we were just riding, right in front or behind in the 88, just because we didn't want to let him out of our sight. So when he pitted towards the end of the race, we pitted just to stay on the same strategy. Same with 14, but we put ourselves in a spot to capitalize on something happening, and we did. But really big to be able to win for Roger. Obviously that's not the way I'd want to do it. Obviously I want to go out and dominate the race. These whenever you win something like this, it's a weird feeling. I don't really want to call it an undeserved feeling, but it's just kind of an odd feeling. But we put ourselves in a good spot. But no, it was worked out for us. But yeah, when I was running third, I was just thinking about points. We were good on points, and I was just cool with riding around in third. But then that situation happened, and we happened to be there.
There it is. I believe the word is lucky is what you're looking for there, Ryan Blaney. The WFO line is already going crazy. Who's out there on the wide open line?
Well, are you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Joe?
I think I am.
Okay. Well, Joe, this is Craig Gaultier, Amarillo, Texas, Stanfield Racing.
Wow. Look at this. We got like real celebrity racers out there calling in. What's up, Craig? How are you doing?
Good. I was just, I got my little notification. The phone lines are open. I was like, hey, man, I'm going to call my buddy Joe, or also known as Hall of Famer Joe.
Wow. Thank you.
Congratulations. That was very awesome.
I'm blown away, and it's funny thinking we were just listening to some audio of Ryan Blaney talking about winning races that are undeserving, and I too feel slightly undeserving, but I'm going to accept the honor and be happy about it.
What could be even more cool than having the Miami legend, the Kid, introduce you? I thought that was really cool.
And I was totally unaware of that fact. And someone had said, Eugene, who is the guy who introduced Daryl in the video, says, we got a surprise for you. And I was just like, okay. And I didn't know what it was. And then to have Daryl have such awareness of of what I was doing. Like when I was a kid, I literally was 15 years old when I first got on the microphone out there. And people accuse me of having a squeaky voice now. So think about what it was then, right? And for him to lay it out and, talk about that, I love the sport of drag racing. I love the people. I love the cars. To hear him say that, it just blew my mind, Craig. It really did. And I'm thrilled about it.
Man, I'm happy for you. I guess kind of that squeaky voice kind of reminds me of the Brady Bunch episode with Peter Brady, where they went into the sound. Voice was changing. So that's probably kind of where the squeaky voice kind of reminds me of that. When don't you remember the episode where they went and did that contest on television? They called themselves the Silver Platters.
I got to say, this is going to sound terrible and un-American of me, but I wasn't a big Brady Bunch guy. I've seen some episodes, but not the one you're referring to.
Man, I mean, that's pop culture. I mean, you're like epitome of pop culture. Every time I listen, you always bring up stuff. I'm like, man, that's pretty smart. I didn't think of that. I didn't know that. And now that's you've kind of dropped down a notch on me. Not
Brady Bunch? Nah, I was more of a that's a little before my time if you think about it. I was more of a facts of life. Different Strokes.
Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell. Yes, Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
We were a little bit
Kelly
older.
Kapowski.
That was more of our teenage years. I
think. That was as a teen. I remember coming home and watching Different Strokes like every day.
There you go.
Gary Coleman. As often it was on. And also Welcome Back, Kotter. It was good. But the Brady Bunch, for whatever reason, I don't know. You know why I think, Craig? Too many freaking people in one house. I can't handle it. I'm an only child, man. I can't have all those people around. I would freak out.
Yeah, I forgot you're the spoiled only child syndrome. I understand that.
Exactly.
To be fair here, I just looked it up. The Brady Bunch ran, I know they ran reruns for much after, but it ran from 69 to 74. We were born in 73. So, it was really like before our time.
I watched Happy Days. I watched Laverne and Shirley. I watched all of that. Just not the Brady Bunch.
If you can't use the time frame of when it actually originally aired as your reasoning of not knowing it, because I was born in 69, and all those, the Hazels, the Leave It to Beaver, all those things, were all ran in syndication. That's how we know all that.
No, you did, and by the way, I watched a lot of Bonanza and Big Valley, and that was like in the 60s.
I watched Mr. Ed. I watched almost every episode of Mr. Ed in black and white as a child. I'm like 10. Maybe, and I thought Mr. Ed was the coolest thing. It's a show with a talking horse.
I love I Dream of Jeannie.
All those. Jeannie was amazing. Barbara Eden was like
Barbara Eden
early on.
Oh, Dream of Jeannie, man, she was smoking Emerald Dragway. She was awesome.
She really was. That was incredible stuff. But anyway, bottom line, you're talking about this kid and his his things dropped, and it happens to everyone eventually. Hopefully.
Turned into a man right before our eyes.
Yes. That's so true. Now, are you racing this weekend? What's going on? Give us the program.
Yeah, super stock, yes, G automatic. But of course, the big weekend for us is Stanfield Racing with Stephen Bell, Archie Cohn, who I've been talking to tonight. He just texted me a few minutes ago and told me that he did an interview with you today, and I guess it's going to be dropping tomorrow. Episode. And of course, Aaron Stanfield, all in factory stock. And of course, our team boss, Greg King Kong Stanfield, going to try to, I guess I might have to take him out in the finals of super stock is the plan, since he got the big trophy in Big Wally in St. Louis.
First of all, how cool is this? A lot to unpack there. Let me tell you what we're doing tomorrow on NHRA Nitro. We're going to have Brian Massengill going to kind of set the scene, Samtech Factory Stock Showdown. We're going to have Stephen Bell talking about there are 3 drivers within 1 point to win the championship. There's Stephen Bell, there's Archie, and there's Leah Pritchett. We did not try to get Leah because Leah is overwhelmed by responsibilities. So instead, we got her crew chief, 4-time champ Kevin Helms. And so it's going to go Stephen Bell, it's going to go Brian Massengill, Stephen Bell, Kevin Helms, Archie Cohn. All Samtech Factory Stock Showdown, 1 full segment. And we're going to just attack this championship. This thing is as exciting as it could possibly be because you have 2 4-time champions behind the scenes of these cars.
Yes. It's I tell you what, it's in the world of drag racing, and unfortunately a lot of times us sportsman guys, we feel like, our classes get slotted a lot in HRA. It's all about top fuel and funny car and stuff. But I mean, really, what's going on online and then what's been happening at the drag strip, you were there at Gainesville when fans typically pour out of the stands when the pros leave. At Gainesville, they all stayed in the stands. And if you look behind the cars of the factory stock cars, you would see guys like Fast Jack Beckman, all the different drivers in the different classes of pro stock. You'd see all the pro stock guys up there, Eric Enders to, Jed Coughlin, all watching this class. And this, as this has kind of evolved through the whole season, I mean, it's just been, I'm a super stock guy, but it's been so exciting to watch as this has unfolded race after race, going from, Gainesville to Charlotte to Bristol, Norwalk, and then Indy, and then St. Louis. I mean, it just has been an awesome, deal. Unfortunately for us, we of course lies at Stanfield Racing. We would love to have had this deal wrapped up,
Yeah. To race, to even got a chance to race in the final. Steven's throttle cable broke.
Yeah, I mean, we're just on the start line, and right when he put it up on the 2-step, it just went blah. And I'm like, oh, they're just all of our hearts just, hearts and just sunk into our stomachs. And because we thought we kind of had, maybe we're going to, make it a race out of it, So it was very disappointing. But all that meant is that it's all good. I mean, that's what we want, right? As race fans and what the people want out there is they want drama. And you're not going to have, it's going to be pure drama because it's basically going to go down to, it is going down to whichever car gets the furthest is going to win the world championship. And that's what dreams are made of, right?
Yes, that is exactly how we would draw it up on paper. Whoever goes the furthest, and maybe they will have to race each other at some point. And did we lose him?
Yes.
No, you're still there. Okay, you're still there. Someone else was trying to call in, too. But it's going to be great. It's going to be very exciting. I'm going to be out there. We're doing a meetup with our great friend Marvin Rodak, who is in the same business as you are. I'm going to ignore that one. And he's in the same business as you are, but we're going to be all out there at the Fan Fest. And if you can, on Thursday, you should come out to the Fan Fest and hang out. We'll have some beers.
Well, I saw that on Facebook where you put that out there, and I hit the interested button. So I'm definitely going to, you know how things go. We have time trials on Thursday, and if the weather cooperates and we get our runs in, I'm going to make a run down the downtown Ennis to come out, hang out with you guys. So I'm going to put this all on the air because I'm going to put some pressure on you. Do not forget about my stickers. $4.
No, I got you. No, I got the stickers. And the sticker that you happen to like on the Facebook page, that's kind of an old school die cut WFOradio.com sticker. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you your choice of which stickers. The new Jeff Strickland printed, much more like a
rectangle
contingency sticker, WFO with the flames out the header pipes sticker, or the old school die cut ones. And I'm really just going to give you both.
Awesome.
There you go.
And, just Greg texted me earlier. He wanted me to check on his contingency sticker or contingency check for St. Louis. Is that in the mail?
Well, what it is he gets to be on WFO if he would like. That's what happens. That's what we say. Is if you win with the sticker, you get to be on the show. You earn an interview on the show. Would he like to participate?
Oh yeah, I mean he's a big fan. I mean he talks about it all the time. He thinks you're really good for racing, and all Stanfield Racing, we're big fans of WFO. All of us are listeners, and
Well, Greg,
and also a big fan of Joe.
Well, thank you for that. And again, it's been very difficult to accept all this fantastic praise over the past couple of days. But Greg Stanfield, when he won the U.S. Nationals, we were there.
I've got pictures of holding up the Wally in the media center.
In the media, when we were there for his Pro Stock U.S. Nationals win with Captain Chaos, and that was was a big part of the start of WFO Radio, like a really big part, because if Captain Chaos doesn't win Pro Stock with Greg Stanfield,
we don't go to Maple Grove.
We don't go to Maple Grove, and show. Yeah, it was like 2 races later.
Yeah.
It fundamentally changes the trajectory of WFO. So Greg Stanfield's a big part of it. One of the first to allow me to put a sticker on his car, and always has a special place on WFO. So yes, we can. I guess Greg Stanfield has been added to the show tomorrow night.
Okay.
There it is.
Well, hey, thanks for taking my call, and I'll see you in Big D.
I'll be out there, and good luck. Hey, let's get you. Like you, every last couple times you raced. The last time maybe not, but the 2 previous, you were like knocking at the door.
I know. I can't close the deal. I need the racing gods' luck a little bit, but
yeah,
I need to do my job.
Just pretend it's like a 9-rounder, and that way, if you go 7 rounds, you'll be just right.
Well, the thing that I'm going to go off on this weekend is my strategy is Dallas doesn't count. I've already claimed on my national events for points, so now I'm just going after the big wallet. I don't have to think about points. So it's just going to be going all for the wallet.
Love it. Well, I will see you out there. Thank you so much for the kind words, and thanks for calling in the show.
Okay, good night.
There it is. Appreciate it. Craig is a weekly NHRA racer, Lucas Oil Series Superstock racer. Great guy, loves the show, had a little bit of a radio background back in the day, and he finds what we're doing here interesting, which is great. I did have to ignore someone else's call, though.
Oh, I'm sure they'll call back.
I would hope they know the way it works like that. And one of the things that we have been able to emulate most talk stations pretty well, with exception of the $20,000 phone systems, where I could put like a bunch of lines on and
and just put them on,
punch them up. That is a different
back in
story.
the day. What's your name? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, roll up your windows, turn off the radio.
Turn off the radio.
Yep. Want to talk to the guys? Exactly. Love that job. Phone screener. Awesome job. Because most phone screeners, if you were like me, you end up doing your own little show back there.
I always remember the first time the bat line rang, and it's like, yeah, this is Danny. I want to talk to Joe. I was like, Danny? Yeah, Marino. I was like, oh, crap. It's Dan Marino.
You spoke with Dan Marino.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a great story. Not as good as Carlos Hawkins stuff, who caught a pass from Dan Marino.
Almost was killed by Dan Marino's throwing a laser pass at him.
Dan Marino tried to assassinate Carlos Hawkins stuff with a football by throwing it through his heart.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yes.
But I think he tried to do that to everyone he threw a ball to. So.
Yeah, but this one was he looked at Joe Rose and said, should I throw him one? And Joe was like, yeah, throw him one. It was like, yeah. And they threw him a pass. And Carlos still has a permanent X on his chest.
His chest.
Yeah, like a plus. So back to the results. Callers always come first here on WFO. Ryan Blaney gets the win. Jamie McMurray second. Clint Boyer third. Alex Bowman, the showman, fourth. Kurt Busch fifth. Sixth, Chase Elliott. Seventh, A.J. Allmendinger. Eighth, Jimmie Johnson. Jimmy eighth.
Ay vey.
He needed to finish seventh. Kevin Harvick ninth. Joey Logano 10th. Everyone else, Ryan Newman 11th, followed by Denny Hamlin, Matt DiBenedetto, Martin Truex Jr., Regan Smith, David Reagan, Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell, Eric Almirola, and Cole Witt 20th. 21st on back, Daniel Suarez, Ty Dillon, Daniel Hemrick, Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, Jeffrey Earnhardt. That was for 25th and 26th.
Last on the lead lap, correct?
Yes. Justin Marks. What are these hieroglyphics? Are those your A and B drivers? I see A's and B's.
Those aren't hieroglyphics. That, if you notice, those are R's, J's, B's, and G's.
Those are our picks.
Those are our picks to determine what the order is for next week.
I'm glad you did that. Kyle Larson, 25th, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Justin Marks, J.J. Yaley, Landon Castle, Eric Jones, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Paul Menard, Lord Byron, Trevor Bain, Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Tim Hill, Austin Dillon, and Stanton Barrett. Stanton Barrett, son of Stanton Barrett, who is on this show. He's got some sort of CBD business he was on with us this year. Or was that last year? It was last year.
Yeah.
But that business is exploding. Very explosion going on. And those are the results for the Bank of America Roval 400. The drivers that transferred: Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, Brad Keselowski, Clint Bowyer, Joy, Kurt Busch, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Eric Almirola, and Bowman the Showman. In his rookie year, he transfers to the second round of racing. First driver to not make it, Jimmie Johnson, seven-time champion.
Well, they were essentially tied for 11th, three-way tie for 11th.
Yeah. And what breaks that tie?
Best finish during this round of the playoffs. And so Jimmie Johnson would have gone in with a second-place finish. He would have been tied with Larson, who came in second in the first race.
Jimmie Johnson, Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin, Eric Jones, all out first round of the playoffs. Now, we're going to take a quick break, come back, and I want to delve more deeply into what Jimmie did. I saw people call it a bonehead move, and I don't think it was the right move, but I totally understand what's going on trying to win the race. And we got to debate it. We got to hash it out, because I think that there should have been some very serious debate going on the pit box. That the driver sometimes need to be protected from themselves. And I've said this for many, many years. The driver is a vicious, rabid dog chasing a ribeye steak. And you can't tell the vicious, rabid dog, no, don't go after the steak. Because if you don't get the steak, we've got a lasagna for you back at the house. Like, that is not going to compute to the race car driver. So we're going to talk about that. But right now I want to make sure everybody knows we got a whole bunch of really great sponsors that make sure that the NHRA Nitro show happens. And we like to give them a little love here on WFO Ignition. Like HusseyPerformance.net, copper head gaskets made in America. The most accurate for any application. If you're a racer and you want good seal and you want them to 1,000th of an inch and absolutely perfect, HusseyPerformance.net. CatSpotLitter.com. Scott Palmer's got a helmet in the Evel Knievel Museum. It's incredible. Stepping up to support WFO Radio for a good portion of this year. If you've got a cat, get Cat Spot Litter. Go to CatSpotLitter.com. If you don't have a cat, get Magic Dry. Simple as that. AerospaceComponents.com. We're talking about Kim Cussy and her team, Tampa Bay, Florida. Got CNC machines all over the place, making all kinds of cool high-performance parts. Brakes, shifters, vacuum pumps, rotors, pedal sets, all kinds of stuff at AerospaceComponents.com. In fact, I have a small set of dragster front tires, like the Kenny Bernstein, Don Garlett style, and I'm looking at them, and I'm pretty sure they were made by Aerospace Components.
Wow, how cool is that?
It's spectacular, and I've got to ask her about that. I got to text it to her. It's just tremendous. Rodax Coffee and Grills.com. Marvin Rodax got gourmet coffees, got hot sauces, got spice rubs, sells barbecues, grilling tools, all of that. We're doing the big Rodax meetup in downtown Ennis. Call it 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time as part of, we're totally co-opting the NHRA Fan Fest. Like, there's a big event, and we're going to have our event inside it. And everyone's going to be there, and we're going to be there. We're going to hang out. We're going to have fun. There's a couple of bars. There's live music. Marvin's going to be there. I'm going to be there. I think Bobby's Bug Barn is going to be there. That's a party right there. You can meet Bobby's Bug Barn. Bobby Graham, going to be there. I'm going to bring a Sharpie for Bobby to sign autographs with. And maybe, if you're lucky, you get the combo Bobby Graham, Marvin Rodak double signature. It's very rare.
Woo!
Yeah. They're going to be laughing about that one, but it is so true. RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. The School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. We just heard Craig talking about the Samtech Factory Stock Showdown final race here at the Texas Motorplex. We all remember what happened when the Mickey Thompson Top Fuel Harley-Davidsons had their final race at the U.S. Nationals. It came down to the final round of the final race to determine the championship. Something like that is going to happen here. It's going to be awesome. Samtech is going through this whole exercise to let kids know that, man, you can become a high-performance engine builder. You can learn to become a CNC machinist. But you got to go to the right school, and Samtech is the right school. Samtech.edu. Great stuff. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. Got to go on the Dragster Adventure if you're looking for a great gift. That's it. Motorsportsguys.com. Terry McMillan's new venture, Motorsports Guys. Mail order. Get your Amalie oil there. Get your filters there. Don't go to your auto parts store. Just go to Motorsports Guys and order it from work. And then when you get home the next day, it's probably there. A couple days later, boom, you just do it.
Those drones will have dropped it off.
Something will. Motorsportsguys.com. You can get that hat by using the promo code WFO. Hangstafers, metalworking lubricants. On board with WFO this year. The folks at Hangstafers, for your shop, you're going to improve your efficiency in the shop by helping you cut your metals and do all your work. Cooling lubricants. Hangstafers, metalworking lubricants, on board with WFO Radio. All huge help to WFO.
Audible. Don't forget Audible again. Hit them with the Audible.
WFO.
You guys know what you got to do. Sign up.
Sign up.
Just do it.
WFO.
Take the free trial.
Well, I'm going to take the free trial because I actually really like the idea of listening to some of these cool books, like picking up the book and reading it on the plane. I can't do that with my eyes closed, but I can do it with audible.com/WFO Ignition. Thanks to all of our sponsors, the people who make this show possible, and honestly, it is an honor to rep you guys, and hopefully our audience, both Ignition, the audience that love us and care, and Nitro, the ones that care less but love hearing NHRA stars, all support our wonderful sponsors. All right, quick break, come back, attack Jimmie Johnson after this.
This is WFO Radio.
Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Whether you're a bracket racer who wants to get better or a thrill seeker looking to cross it off your bucket list, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School can put you on the right track. Don't believe me? Tell him, Frank.
No matter how little or how much experience you have, we've got a program for you. So if driving a dragster is on your bucket list, there's no better time than now. And if you'd like to be a pro, well, here's funny car champ, Jack Beckman.
Hey, this is Jack Beckman. Long before I was Fast Jack, I was a bracket racer who went to the Frank Hawley School. The time I spent there was some of the most exciting, intense, and fulfilling moments ever in a race car. I feel the curriculum Frank developed greatly helped me win not only the Super Comp, but also the NHRA Nitro Funny Car Championship. Frank put me on the right track. What are you waiting for?
Call them at 866-480-7223. That's 866-480-7223. Or visit frankhawley.com.
Start your education at full speed with the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Accelerate your career as a high-performance engine builder with classroom instruction and practical hands-on experience in the lab, on the dyno, and at the track. In addition to the block, head, and CNC programs, SAM now offers motorsport, EFI tuning, and an Associates of Applied Science degree. And SAM is a military-friendly school, approved to train veterans and other eligible persons under the GI Bill. Start your education at full speed. Go to samtech.edu today.
CatSpotLitter.com. Got to check them out. And, of course, think about getting a cat. There's so many little kitties out there that need a home. They need a home. But it's the litter. No, now you've got CatSpotLitter.com. So check it out. Cat Spot Litter, new supporter of WFO Radio.
Subscribe to WFO Radio on iTunes. Never miss a show. And don't forget to write a review. WFO.
Hey, racers and race fans, I want to tell you about the Motorsports Guys. Terry McMillan from Elkhart, Indiana, has got a new venture, and we want you to hit the website at motorsportsguys.com.
It's going to be a one-stop shop. They're going to have it all. But most importantly, oil, Amalie, better than it has to be since 1903, available at motorsportsguys.com. Check it out. Bookmark it, motorsportsguys.com. Terry McMillan stepping up as a supporter of WFO Radio. Check them out, motorsportsguys.com.
This is Sean from Traverse City, Michigan. You ever get done with an episode of Ignition or Nitro and say, man, that's a good job? I'd like to give them a pat on the back and a cold beer. Well, with Patreon, you can. So send that drink down to Gio and Joe.
Now, back to WFO Radio Ignition.
Whenever I hear Sean talk about Patreon, I get real fired up. I love that. And what he did, and what I want everybody to do, and you don't have to do it. They say that less than 2% of anyone that listens will ever consider to maybe call. And that's so true. It's so true. But on your iPhone or Android phone, in utilities, I have something called voice memos. And I just click record. And then, record something for us. Like a shout out, like yourself saying WFO, like participate in the show. Give Giovanni some little, colors to paint with. And what Sean is doing is introducing Patreon to everybody, where you can support the show directly and occasionally get content. Now, I've got something. I did some interviews out there at the Miami Hollywood reunion. I interviewed Daryl Gwynn. Reg Kenny was out there. There were so many great people. We had such a great time. Got out there bright and early. Had a whole lot of fun. Good time. Giovanni got there. Man, Giovanni he is so Miami. Giovanni in Miami. So Miami. Got there 30 seconds before the right time to be there.
Not exactly accurate, but yes, I did come in. I think it was perfect timing. I don't know that it was 30 seconds, but I'd say at the appropriate 20 minutes right before. By the way,
before
it
the
was 1,000 degrees. I got there right on the fire, right as they were firing up, not for the introduction of
I scooped up Gray. I threw him in the race car and got in the car and started it up, and he was telling me how loud it was. Is it always this loud? Yes. This is part of it. Loud. Because is it always this hot? And I go, yes, it's hotter. This is very hot and very loud. Welcome to drag racing, kid. Hot and loud. The hot part we don't talk about a lot, but it is. And I couldn't help but think, I worked my tail off just to get to this car show. And this thing is a lot of work, man. This is a lot of work, this sport. Like every drag racer is got some sort of psychological issue. The thrill of the speed and the competition outweighs the extreme amount of work just to get there. You got to want to work.
Oh, my goodness. And it was 1,000 degrees out there. The sun was beating down
it really was.
Unbearable.
No, it was very hot, and I told my dad, I was like, hey, don't get out here until 12:30. Because he was going to come out at 9:30 when I got out there. And he's like, don't. 12:30. That's when I want to see you. And he got there like 12. But great stuff. All right, let's talk about Jimmie Johnson and the move that sunk his championship. First of all, I feel like we have been on the story that Jimmy and Chad are coming around. And the car is getting better and better every week, and he is in the mix. Started off terribly. Why? New aero package, new body. It's going to take time, and when your competition are using the same thing that they've used forever, and you're not, you're going to be behind. But they've been gaining and gaining and gaining. And he's running second behind Martin Truex Jr. in the closing laps of the Roval 400. And, what happened? Let's talk about it from a couple different angles. Number one angle, the easy angle, is Jimmy's perspective.
Well, the big wreck occurs where all those guys get wiped out.
The whole track gets blocked.
Yeah, Kyle, Brad K, everybody.
The big one, yes.
The big one. And so we're going to restart Truex and Jimmy side by side with, 5-6 laps to go?
Yes.
And
Truex has got the lead, and Jimmy is second. Jimmy's got a car that is capable of winning. Yes, he can win. Does he need to win? No. What's the goal? Transfer and win the race. There's two goals. To win the race, you may risk winning the championship. So it's a cost-benefit analysis that has to be going on. Now, Jimmie Johnson should not be the person doing the cost-benefit analysis, because Jimmie Johnson is a race car driver, and race car drivers want to win races. So to tell
that simple.
the driver to not win the race or expect him to know to not win the race or to override his own confidence in his own ability, the idea that Jimmie Johnson is thinking to himself, maybe I'll overheat the corner and crash and spin and get knocked out and have to stop and lose all these positions. I'm pretty confident that does not enter
going through his mind going into that last lap. He's thinking, I could get side by side. He might even be thinking, I haven't won in forever.
Absolutely. First win of the year. I haven't won a race all season. I want to win. I got a car that can win. I can beat this guy. I'm better than Truex. I'm going to go. I'm doing it. I'm crashing. And that's what's happening. So I really do not blame Jimmie Johnson. I don't think a 7-time champion can make a bonehead move. I think a 7-time champion does what he does. He goes and competes, and the chips fall. And in this case, he overcooked it, and the chips fell, and he's out. I do blame, Mr. H and Chad Knaus for not, and maybe, and I don't know this for certain, and I know from my NHRA experiences that there's stuff that happens behind the scenes that nobody ever finds out about. Maybe Mike Bagley on the morning drive tomorrow morning will play audio of Mr. H on the radio saying, Jimmy, don't do it. Stay in second. So you've got to stay in second, Jimmy. Don't do it. Don't do it or else you're fired. Like maybe that audio exists, and I am just unaware of it. But
I doubt it.
I am unaware of it, okay? A more compelling case should have been made. In fact, on the restart, Jimmy, here's the thing. If it was Formula One, I feel very confident that Mercedes would. Here's the thing. In your current position, you transfer in the championship. We, as a team, benefit greatly from advancing to the next round of the playoffs. Our sponsors get X amount of millions of dollars bonuses by making to the next round of the playoffs, and we feel very capable of winning a race in the next round of the playoffs, which will put us very close to the ultimate round, into the penultimate round. You must hold your position and bring home second. Do it.
By the way, the opposite of that is Kyle Larson's team clearly knew that they needed to get past Jeffrey Earnhardt to advance.
Yes.
So why was Jimmie Johnson not aware of that? And again, I too blame miscommunication between Chad or somebody on the team's job that day should have been to just be aware of where we are in the transfer at all times.
At all times, at every second. And I do not, and I'm checking, and I want everybody who knows WFO. The poker guys came in, they came out, did their thing. I had this weekend was jam-packed. I've done some fair amount of searching. I haven't seen a definitive explanation other than Giovanni bringing up a Jimmie Johnson tweet. And Jimmy says he would have done everything the same with exception of adjusting his front brake bias.
Here, I got the tweet this morning. Brake? Jimmy this morning at 9:53 tweets, after sleeping on it, I would only change one thing. I should have added front brake bias heading into the braking zone. I think we would have been door-to-door with the 78 across the start-finish line. Bring on Dover.
See, now that is delusional. And I support him as a 7-time champ. The guy is the greatest driver of the 2000s,
of our era,
certainly of the 2000s, greatest driver this century. But he gave up a chance to win his 8th championship. And one thing, we don't analyze races like I did back in the XM days and everything because we're not limited to talk only NASCAR. And I think a lot of that is water over the bridge. But what I believe in terms of competitive strategy, especially racing, is that you must extend the game. You must extend the competition. You don't have to throw a Hail Mary with 2 minutes to go. You throw a Hail Mary with 2 seconds to go. And you should always be trying to extend the competition. And if you don't need to bring it down to one play, it's 4th and 1. You could kick a field goal or you could go for the touchdown. Well, depending on other factors, but I think you should kick the field goal because now you've gained some points, you got some momentum, and a lot of stuff can happen.
Well, I'll give you one now that you're mentioning football. I am against going for that chasing the 2. When you miss an extra point or if you're down by 8, I believe that you should just stay on course and kick your extra point until the very last minute of the game. Because otherwise, we saw it yesterday happen in the game where it was Houston and Indy, that Indy decided to go, they were down by 11 and they went for 2 when they scored a touchdown and they missed the 2-point conversion. Now they're down by 5 instead of 4. And so now they need another touchdown.
Right.
And now when they came to get the other touchdown, they had to go for 2 again just to tie the game. Because Houston got a field goal and so made it an 8-point game again.
Extend the competition.
I am against chasing that extra point. And I think that you shouldn't do that to the very last minute.
And so the desire for a win, and you can't blame Jimmy, the desire for this win, he wanted this win so bad, the Roval, maybe it was, who knows? But Jimmy made a mistake, as so many others had, took out Truex, and Ryan Blaney wins the race. And now Jimmie Johnson is out. And that's it. It's over. It's out. How can you not live with that mistake? Like, oh, my gosh. Now, would he have won the championship? Maybe not. Or maybe because now we're going to see if he goes out there and wins next week and then wins in 2 weeks and then wins Homestead, guess what?
He would have been the champ.
He would have been the champ. You now know, and of course they will definitely say, well, it wouldn't have necessarily worked that way because the whole space-time continuum would be different.
Well, I agree with it, but it is what it is. We've seen him getting better throughout the year. We've all been saying it. We're not the only ones. Anybody that knows really racing has said we expect Hendrick to get faster as the year goes by and as they figure out the new stuff.
The new stuff, and they are figuring it out, and they're getting better and better. And how about this? I have no doubt Jimmie Johnson wins one of these last races. It's going to happen.
Yes, and there are many tracks over the next 7 weeks that he is great at.
Yes. Yeah, and so there we are.
Just that simple.
It's just
in the end. It's now, mind you, I get it. You're a racer and you're trying to win races, but the object here is not to win a race; it's to win championships. Jimmy's now main goal is to become an 8-time champion and be by himself as an 8-time, 9-time, 10-time champion, whatever he can get it to.
Yes.
It's not to add to his 83 wins or whatever it is he's at.
And that brings us to the other side of the coin, which is there are a lot of Dale Earnhardt fans and a lot of Richard Petty fans that are very happy that this happened.
And by the way, I don't want to hear any more of the whole NASCAR conspiracy that all these years they've wanted Jimmie Johnson to win. Otherwise, they would have found a way for him to be the winner of that tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker, exactly. Most championships gets you the tiebreaker. Right. Look, the guy is a human. The guy is human, and we saw him in a human moment, and that's exactly right. WFO, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Joe, it's Mike. How are you?
Race Guitar in the house. How you doing?
Good, you?
Was that you who called earlier?
Yeah, I did, but I was not stopped in the greatest area, so it didn't pick up, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to keep rolling.
Oh, that's good. I actually ignored you. I didn't need to tell you that. No, we had a celebrity caller on. We had Craig Galtieri, who is a super stock racer out there, and we were talking Samtech Factory Stock Showdown, and you know that we can only take one at a time. And so I assumed, as all the audience who would ever maybe call in should know, that if we don't pick it up, try again
in
later.
A few minutes.
Yeah. Try, think about how long a call should take and then try again later. And we'll, after a few minutes go by, then we'll move on, as you have done.
No,
good job.
In my case, I just rolled up to the next safe spot to pull over.
So good that you pull over to make your call.
Well, yeah, because otherwise I have to use the Bluetooth, and we all know how that works.
Speaking of which, our great friend Millerman was actually out there at the Roval 400. I was disappointed in the crowd. I am now kind of bewildered and confused as to what is wrong with the NASCAR fans. So it's not that it's not new, fresh, and exciting. Here's something that was new, fresh, and exciting, and they didn't go anyway.
Yeah. That was actually the primary reason I called was the Roval. I have to applaud NASCAR for trying something new, and I hope they do it again. But why was there so much squeezed into the infield? In other words, putting a road course on the oval, that's a cool idea. But, man, there was no room for anything. If you got off track, there was nowhere to – you were hitting something.
No runoff area. I understand.
Yeah, I felt like I'm going to build on your point in that, it's a Roval, which means there's supposed to be part oval, but I don't think there was enough oval. I think that one of those chicanes should have been taken out and let them continue to ovalize.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. A perfect example of what I'm saying is that when Brad Kay on the restart, when Keselowski just went straight in, everyone behind him had nowhere to go. They just piled up. In the end, there was, 8-9 cars involved?
Yeah, it was like Watership Down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody getting that reference? Come on now, really? I don't think so.
I don't get it.
The rabbits, man. The rabbits in Watership Down, man. In the cartoon, Watership Down, which was a book, but then they made this cartoon, and these rabbits, these cute little rabbits, they're talking about rabbits, Watership Down, and then the farmer comes and he fills the holes with dirt, and the rabbits are trying to escape, except the holes are full of dirt, and they all pile in there, and they all pack in there, and they all die.
Are you talking about Of Mice and Men?
No, that's Lenny. That's a different story. And I will love him and kiss him and squeeze him and hug him. How do you like that one, Craig? Anyway.
That was nice. Anyways, I kind of half joking put up they should put a jump into the course next year because they couldn't have hit anything else.
I love the idea of a jump. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's have a jump.
On the backstretch.
You can't have a jump. You can't have a jump, but generally, rapid fire, 4 or against?
4.
Do again or do not do again?
Do again with the track modified.
Right. Pull out some of the twists and the turns and smooth it out, right. And because they look a little slow out there. They look visually a little slow.
But of course, in my opinion, they were slow. They had to be, because if they didn't, they were going to hit something and take out 7 cars.
Yeah. Like maybe
there was.
It needs to be more Watkins Glen.
That was what popped out into my mind every time I saw something was there's no room here. You get off track, you have to go back on track or you're going to hit the wall. And if you don't, and when you do that, you take out another car. Even the Martin Truex Jr. Jimmie Johnson wreck at the end, in my opinion, Truex knew he was there, but he had nowhere to go. Where's he going to go, to his left and drive into the barricade, or to his right? And there's Jimmie Johnson.
Well, why do we have a chicane right before the finish line anyway?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, they overdid it. This is how it goes. Like we're going to have a road course and we're going to do this and this and this and this and this. Look at that, we got 58 turns, and we really should only have a few. And I get it, and I bet you they do modify the track. But this was the first time, and they nobody gets it right on the very first time. There's always some sort of tweaking. Look at the whole playoff system. It took a while, and now they got something that I think is exciting. And it's too bad that the NASCAR fans are rejecting everything now. It's not even about
the playoff system.
Yeah,
the playoff system. It's a disaster.
I like it.
I have no idea what's going on.
Advance, win, and advance.
For the first 4 or 3.
Yeah,
and
win in advance.
Oh, you have season points and you have playoff points, and this guy has this many playoff points.
I don't disagree with you there. I agree. The season points and the playoff points and the best friend points. I don't, those. I don't get all those. Listen, that's for them to keep up with. You win, you advance.
Yeah.
You control your own destiny. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like
that part is accurate, but I definitely got to agree. Like, even I don't even want to know. Like, there's too much confusion with the different points and the regular points and playoff points.
Well, we don't even talk about that on the show anymore.
Right.
Points is now something.
And I give you all
that
stuff that they put out, but it's meaningless, really.
It's gibberish. I
think it's confusing to the casual fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not a hardcore NASCAR fan. You know that. That's when I watch and set a team once a week and let the cards fall where they may. But
speaking of which, let's do fantasy results with Race Guitar on the air.
All right.
I don't think there's no reason for that. Mike's still sitting at the bottom.
Do it. I think you probably now. What happens? I know what happens is that people who do very well in the fantasy. They happen to call in because they did real well in the fantasy. And so let's break out the fantasy and see how great Race Guitar did. That's probably the reason he's calling.
I hope that Mike is sitting at the bottom still. I want to be the last place of active players. That's my goal.
Yeah, you're playing the ladder game. All right. The weekly winner, and this is now up on the website. Patrick, the webmaster, doing a great job of getting it up on the website, so I don't have to deal with the fantasy racing cheat sheet thing. And I prefer to read it this way. This is so much smoother. The weekly winner by 1 point with 350 points, Uper won, past champion.
Wow.
Second place by 1 point, 349, WFO Joe.
Wow, look at you.
This is like the best week of my life. I'm second in the fantasy. I had the whole Hall of Fame thing.
You did have a great weekend.
This was a great weekend. It was spectacular. A lot of upside.
I would have loved to have been you this weekend.
Oh, I know. Day Racing 21, 343, along with the Tennessee Money Man, who's got 333 in fourth. Flea Tree, 329 in fifth. DRT Girl, 324 sixth. Barbecue Bob, 318 seventh. Mrs. Black Ice, 315 in eighth. Brian Spink, 314, tied with Giovanni in Miami for ninth and 10th.
Woo!
So a whole bunch of friends in there getting best friend points. Most points, Uper won, 350, up 6 positions. Biggest gainer, that's me, WFO Joe.
Oh,
349
no.
up 9 positions. 9 positions.
Oh, I know who's going to be greatly disappointed
That's
with you
right,
making
Gray.
a move up the
That's
up
right,
the
Gray.
charts. Yep.
Why don't you just play this audio for him? That's right, Gray. Biggest loser is the NH Bucknut, 442 with 153 down 13 positions. But this is what everybody cares about. The overall leader by 51 points, Lowe's Jinkones. Lowe is still leading. Race Guitar, you've been following this a long time. Our friend Lowe down there in Tucson, he looks like the guy to beat this year.
Yeah, but he can't. He's either got to have to fall off the fantasy league standings, or his Red Sox are going to have to start doing badly.
That's it, one or the other, Lowe. Which do you choose?
He's got too much to crow about.
Wow, there you are correct about this. I definitely don't see a world where he's going to have a Red Sox celebrating a Red Sox victory or championship and his own WFO Fantasy Championship. So,
speaking of best years of lives, right? Like Lowe has already hit a home run. He's got a beautiful wife. He's got beautiful kids. He's like a very generally happy, positive individual. He's going to win the fantasy championship, but his Red Sox are going to get bounced in the divisional series. That's the way I see it. Bug Barn second. Remember Midnight last week? We were like, who's this Midnight? It was Bobby's Bug Barn. He accidentally changed his name. Now he's back to being the Bug Barn, 51 points back. Craig in Newhall. We got to talk Craig, man. Craig in Newhall has got it going on, 78 points back. Gio in Miami, fourth, 158 back. Uper 192 back. Mr. Fantasy NASCAR, 217 back.
Hey, I made a big move this week on Low, even though I did not gain any spots. I believe last week I was down 220, and so I'm only down 158 now. A couple of more weeks like that, and I got to tell you, I'll be right there, ready to steal that victory from Low.
Can you imagine if you steal it? Black Falcon 7th, Millerman is 8th, 85 Racing 9th, Day Racing 21, rounding out the top 10. Now on the 5s and drivers of note, for instance, past champion, Smothered and Covered, 14th, 15th, Junior 24, 48. Now on to 20th, DRT Girl, number 2, right behind Highline Real Fine and ahead of I Can See Her Almirolas.
And a big easy.
What's up to Bull's Wool. 25th, Mrs. Black Ice. 30th, Patrick the Webmaster. Way to go, Pat, down 1. Just behind Stubo and Willie B. Racing, who is just ahead of Tennessee Moneyman. 35th, Driving Hard. Down 3 behind Dirty Hippies and ahead of Brian Spink. 40th, DRT Girl. 42nd, Miss Little Low. 45th, WFO Joe.
So all that climbing and you're still behind Miss Little Low?
And behind Gary Corbett by 4 points. But that's the thing, though. I'm just a couple points behind him. I'm about to blow right by.
You're tied with Fleet Tree.
That's right. I am tied with Fleet Tree. 45th. 50th, JG24 LKB. 55th, JJHZKR fan. JJ.
Oh, wait a minute. I know who that is.
Husker fan. That's our friend JJ from Nebraska.
Yes.
I figured it out.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I'm smart.
Look at the big brain on Brett.
Not like people say. Moonchild, 61st. Wait, I just had you. Where is Race Guitar? 59th, Race Guitar. 59th. Oh, yes, you are last of all the active players. Moonchild is not playing anymore. Moonchild has given up. Oh, that's sad. Mrs. Dirty Hippies has given up. They've all given up. Is it wrong that we force people to play until it's over?
No, it's not.
No. Come on,
and I
Race
remember
Guitar, step up.
JJ was formerly Colombian Bam Bam. There's a couple of people that changed their name at the start of the year with the whole new thing.
Yeah. No, I don't mind changing the names. That's cool.
Just don't do it during the season, folks.
And there is your fantasy results. So, Race Guitar, did you go out to the Dutch Classic?
I did not. Well, dude, that's a long ways away.
What was that? What was the race that was this weekend? I thought it was the Dutch.
It was the Dutch.
Oh.
It's far away is what he meant. Not
you went down to Maple Grove.
In distance, not in time.
You drove down there for the Nationals.
Yeah, but that was well, if it was me in the truck, it's probably about 6.5, 7 hours to get down there. But I had Gilby with me, so of course it takes longer to do everything. So it probably was about 8.5, I guess, to get down there. So anyway, my point is, it's not a Sunday drive.
Right.
New England driveway, that's one thing.
That's not a quick ride. Okay, I get it.
Lebanon Valley, that's an easy ride, but Maple Grove, and that's a commitment.
All right, I dig.
But still, though, it was a good race. D1 TV all most of the weekend. D3 TV. Hey, Megan Myers got the win out there in Great Bend. So did Chris Houle. That's good.
Wow, Chris Houle, the king of the comeback finish. Most exciting stuff. The guy's amazing. Chris and Kevin Houle, man, they're heroes. They never give up. Absolutely. They are come from behind winners.
No, that E1 run at Maple Grove was unbelievable. Because what was it in Route 66 when he did it last time?
Yeah, the best part of that was because I was not in Maple Grove, so I was a little disappointed.
Right.
But I was watching I was watching on my dad's he's got Roku on All Access, and you may recall at Route 66 I was in line waiting for food when the first time it happened, and I totally missed it. And I heard Brian call the race, and I was like, "What just happened?" And got this one I got to enjoy. So thanks to Chris and Kevin Houle for redoing the event that I missed.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah. It was insane.
It was as good as it gets. Like that's what was that? DJ Cox, who was in the other lane. I felt bad for him.
Yep. But it was good to see DJ Cox after that crash in Lebanon Valley. So
exactly. All right, what do you think about this weekend, Dallas?
Dallas. What do I think about it? I think. I'll tell you, Pro Stock has been interesting to watch. It's going to be an interesting field next year. We'll see how it all shakes out. But off the top of my head, I could think of 3 cars that won't be on the track anymore with the 4th that looks like that's the way it's going to be. So we'll see what happens. But Dallas, it all depends on the weather. It's a great track surface, but if they don't have the weather to make the horsepower, then it's all for naught.
We better get the weather. Regarding Pro Stock, I'm hearing some things, like obviously the Mountain Motor exhibition that happened at the U.S. Nationals was not for out of nowhere, right? And so that's kind of going to be interesting. I'm paying attention to everything as if maybe I'm watching the last year of Pro Stock as we know and knew it. As far as specifics, we know that Tanner and Drew Tanner's going NASCAR racing, and Drew wants to be a Lucas Oil Series racer, where less commitment. So he doesn't have to go to every single race, which can be really taxing. But we're going to get some new guys in there. I've heard some things that we're going to have some cars replaced by other guys. So I'm still bullish about Pro Stock.
John Gaidos closing it up.
Gaidos is gone. Yeah, Gaidos
closing it up. Not only gone, he sold the car. It's already on its way to Europe.
Yeah, you gotta love him, but it's just too hard at that point.
Yeah, and I couldn't help noticing on a racing equipment website that I frequent, keeping an eye on things. You could buy an Australian Pro Stock racers motors on the U.S. side for a pretty good price.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
2 of them. So
wow,
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, it's and that's the thing. This is a silly season in drag racing, also. Whatever
I'll say this about what I'm surprised. I'm surprised that there hasn't been an announcement made. If we're going to do something, and it seems to me, man, we're running out of time. people got to be planning for 2019. I'm surprised there hasn't been something official put out yet.
True. But any day, that kind of stuff is going to be coming out at any point sometime soon. I agree. If they're going to make any kind of change. But the whole thing is that whatever it is, the change, whatever it is, talking pro stock, it's not going to require anybody to, like, rebuild their operation.
See, I don't think that's true. I think that if you say, let's speak hypothetically for a second here. If you say to, hypothetically, KB Racing,
yes,
we're going to allow Mountain Motor Pro Stock cars in here.
Yes.
And I think that you brought this up before.
Yeah.
Why would they keep flogging the horse of perfecting a 5 cubic inch engine when they could just go out and build horsepower with cubic inches and incorporate some of the tricks and the secrets that they know from building 500 cubic inches into an 800 cubic inch engine?
Right. Well, that's what I think is going to happen, and I've had some conversations with some people, and I'm not saying it's a bad idea because they need cars, and the car count is the whole thing. But that's what my hypothesis of what will happen is going to happen, that the engine builders are going to say, okay, we're going to get a couple of these blocks and a couple of these parts and do our thing and rapidly blow the guys that are currently using that stuff out of the water, just like everybody else gets blown out of the water by the best of the best. And we'll be right back here. But it'll be cool. We'll be running like 6 teens, like 615 instead of 650. That'll be cool.
Yeah. Well, like you said, we'll have to see how it all shakes out. And just to put a bow tie on Pro Stock, how about, I don't know if you paid attention, but Alex Laughlin, man, he drove that blown Camaro Corvette to the final round at No Mercy. That was pretty cool.
I did not pay any attention at all, and it is, not for lack of interest.
You were busy yesterday.
Yes, totally consumed 100% with my own stuff. Mm-hmm. So who won?
Hey, I want to say Haney. Oh, my God, I don't remember.
See, you watched it and you don't even remember? Come on now. It's
don't.
bad. You call me out, I don't watch it, and you don't.
I was watching it to keep track of how Alex Laughlin was doing. Because it's a whole different way of, driving. I mean, trying to get those 9-inch tires down the track was insane.
I'm very interested in it, actually. But at some point, it's just, here, I got it. Please stand by. Jeff Nazer.
Nazer, that's right. Yeah.
379 with a 2 beats a 380 with an 8, and Nazer left first, 017. And that 79 is moving out.
And Alex had wounded the motor in the semis, so they had to do a massive thrash on the car just to get it to the final.
So, wow.
Anyways, whatever. My point is just that it was pretty cool seeing him have success over there on that side.
Those Radio versus the World cars are very impressive, and I think that they're cool. And, hearing Stevie Fast talk about them, and he's obviously got a passion for them, and they're very expensive, and they're wild, and they're amazing that they do what they do. And that's exactly what it takes to get my attention.
Yeah. Like I was off and on between that race, the No Mercy race, D1 from Maple Grove, and the Great Bend race. So I was kind of keeping an eye on all three races. So
did you just yawn?
He did.
I think he did.
No, I didn't. I can't yawn. I got to roll the truck, man.
I don't know, man. It kind of sounded a little bit like a yawn. What are you bored? You bored talking to us?
No, absolutely not.
What, do we bore you?
No.
All right.
No. Did I miss the Gio's glasses segment for this week?
Yes, you did. It happened right before the show, but I took a photograph of it, and I witnessed it. You may recall he just described what it's like to have the reading glasses get caught in his hair. But this week, I got to witness it in person. And he's fighting, and the glasses are stuck in his hair, and he's pulling his hair, and they're all, like, mangled in there. And I had time. It was so stuck that I got to break out my phone, and I got to take a picture of the whole deal. Yeah.
Hey, I was thinking maybe for Gio, because I don't like to see anyone suffer. Maybe we can set up a deal with Cat Spot and get him a seeing eye cat to help him out.
Yeah.
Thanks. But the problem is I would need a cat that can read to me. I can see at distance. I just can't see anything that's, I would say, from put your arm out forward in front of your face. From there to in is fuzzy vision. From there out, it's HD.
Gio,
really
Gio, that doesn't really matter. I don't care about that. I just think it would be hilarious knowing that you're carrying a cat around 24 hours a day.
That would be hilarious, except that my wife is allergic to the felines, and so.
Hey, Race Guitar, we're getting another call. There it is. I'm going to take this other call.
Okay, Joe, I'll let you guys go. I got to roll the truck anyways. Have a good one. WFO, gentlemen.
WFO, Race Guitar.
There goes Race Guitar.
Ciao, guys. Bye-bye.
There he goes. Race Guitar. Weighing in.
And so, the other call didn't get?
No.
It didn't take the charge?
Didn't take the charge. Yeah, but I know who it is.
All right.
Yeah, it's one of the diehards.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move over
All right, well,
to...
we did fantasy. What do we got?
Well, we got to talk, I think
did we do F1?
No.
We
did mostly F1, but we did not do the Haas F1 report.
No, I mean, we pretty much covered the race, other than, Mercedes, Lewis wins again. They kind of screwed over Bottas. Mad Max with a heck of a run. By the way, it was his 21st birthday.
It was like a video game, watching Max Verstappen go from last to first.
The kid is immensely talented, very clearly.
Super. WFO, you're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Mr. Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Rich and Saugus, everybody. Rich and Saugus.
There he is.
I've never spoken to a Hall of Famer before that I know of. So this is kind of,
You know what?
a little bit of a kick.
Listen, it's funny because that's what the response is exactly that. Just like the joke of the track championship we talked about a couple of years ago, but it's still a track championship. I'm in a Hall of Fame, man. Yeah, I'm a Hall of Famer. You are friends with a Hall of Famer.
That's pretty cool.
And by the way, now he always needs to be referred to as Hall of Famer Joe Castello.
Right? That was the comment I left this morning on his Facebook.
Yeah.
Now all introductions will be Hall of Famer Joe Castello.
We'll see if it happens, but yeah, I know.
Well, we see it. I demand that of all our favorite athletes that are in the Hall of Fame, that that is their new name.
And as an announcer,
their first name becomes Hall of Famer.
And as an announcer, I'll give you a perfect example. Like Terry McMillan's new first name is U.S. Nationals winner, and his middle name is Terry, and his last name is McMillan. And I did that for Chris McGahey. Like, that's it, man. When you achieve some sort of life goal that we are trying to make into a big deal, and you achieve it, of course that becomes your new first name.
See.
So
right?
There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Isn't that the rules? Isn't that how, right? It's Daytona champion, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Whoever.
Yes, absolutely.
When you reach a feat of strength.
Right. Daytona 500 winner, so-and-so.
Absolutely.
That's just the way. Indy 500 winner, so-and-so. Whoever it is. Once you achieve that, and it is so true for Hall of Fame. So, yes, no, you may refer to me as that if you like. Now, are we saving you?
I will.
Are we saving you a pair of tickets to Ford Championship Weekend?
That sounds like a no.
It does
That
seem.
sounds like a no.
It sounds very much like a no. We should have asked Grace Guitar.
You guys should know I would have planned way ahead of this anyways if I was coming. Just because that's the way I am, and maybe I should just try and talk the wife into going.
Yeah, why quit so easily? Why not say, guys, I'm going to talk to her. And you're still more than, how much do you have to plan? Really, we're talking about mid-November. It's October 1st. You're still outside the 30 days for airfare. I'm sure you can get a hotel room. Come on, you only live once.
Well, I can't even use that as an excuse now. I was going to say, well, I'm saving it up for the Formula One in Miami. Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah, no.
No, you know what? Maybe I'll have to. Maybe I'll try to soften up.
Let us know. See what you can do. If not,
let's go to Miami.
There it is. Go to Miami, City of Lights, City of Magic, where everybody wants to be.
Somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, and look at this. Oh, there happens to be a race this weekend. Oh, maybe we'll do that.
I just acquired us some free tickets.
Yeah, the easiest part of it is going to be free, right? But hey, to the WFO audience members out there, we have already received some people who have emailed that they will be partaking in the WFO Ford Championship Weekend celebration that we have been putting on for the past couple of years. Rich Saugus is a past player, and he's been out here. He can tell you it's a great time. Elephant Racers is coming back. Others are coming back. The rules of the game are this. If you can use the tickets, you got to email me, joe@wforadio.com, and you have to pay for everything on your own, but we can put tickets in your hands. And you can go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's it gets you in the door. It's good enough.
And let me do my pitch. If you're thinking about it and you have the means to go, do it. Do it. It was a blast sitting with you guys, hanging with everybody else. I can't endorse it enough.
There you go. No, that's great. We did. We always have a great time. To me, it's the ultimate blowout to the end of the year. And this year, with like the big three, it's not going to be Jimmie Johnson. You got a whole bunch of reasons to go down there. It's going to be a great year. By the way, I saw Justin post that this is like the best NASCAR season he's seen ever, and he's loving this season. And it got me to think about it. And there have been many fantastic finishes this season, including this past weekend where they're crashing in the final lap and a third place driver comes up and wins. Like, isn't that exactly what the NASCAR fans supposedly want? Obviously not, because they didn't show up.
There 4 different people today told me that was the greatest race I've ever seen.
Wow. Maybe we're on to something like stadium trucks, except NASCAR. More crashing, more sliding around, less space, more turns, chaos. People want chaos.
And you know what? And maybe that's the bottom line, that people want chaos.
Obviously.
But, yeah, I have to say that was the best race of the year. I thought it was the best race of the year.
Okay. So your honest opinion is that you loved it.
Yes, I did. And you know what? When they first announced the whole Roval thing, I wasn't, okay, well, it's not a real road course, but whatever. We'll see how it goes. And, Joe, you were like, no, this is great. This is going to –
Really?
You were only wrong. You were only wrong because you underappreciated. You thought it was going to be great. It was better than great.
Wow. You know what? What's funny is that, most of the time – I remember, what my opinion was initially. And it's not always right. Like, I'm wrong a lot, and I change my mind. A lot of people don't change their minds. I change my mind a lot. Like, I thought this, but then I modify my opinion because I learned. I had no recollection of what I thought other than I'm generally a fan of road courses, and I think it's become some of the most captivating racing we have. And I also think it looks better on television because the angles change, and you're seeing different stuff. And so I'm glad that you have reminded me of my being correct.
And I think the thing you caught on to faster than anybody else did was the whole stadium thing. That it was in an area where you could see all the action, that you're not just going to lose the view of people going, way out, like Sonoma and Watkins Glen, where you only see just this little view of them. Oh, and then they go.
Yes, you lose contact with the cars. You're never going to lose contact with the cars. And they did such a good job of painting the place to make it look beautiful. It was just visual. Like, forget the cars. Just looking at the place was pretty cool. I give them credit.
Absolutely.
I think it took guts to do it, and they did it. And I also think that the NASCAR fans, which I'm actually, Rich, very disappointed. I don't have the time to devote to NASCAR like I used to. And it's very different when you're being, I was for many years, I was, paid specifically to keep track of every lap of every race in the NASCAR circuit. But still, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series is the pinnacle of NASCAR racing, and I do like it, and I love watching these new drivers, new era of drivers grow through. The diehard fans in Charlotte, hometown of NASCAR, the fact that they did not pack that place is really sad. what do they want? They went out of their way to create something new and exciting, and the fans stayed home. That's really, really bad, not for the sport, but for the people. Like, what were they saying? Now, Miller Man and all the people that we know that are diehards, they showed up. You got to show up to see something like that, and they didn't. And that says something really negative about the fans right now. Like, they are the dog that won't eat the dog food. And you can market the dog food. You can put whatever in the dog food. And if the dog doesn't eat the dog food, you just like whatever. And right now they are just angry, and they are just turning their nose up at whatever it is, regardless.
Well, you like you said, regardless, there are some people, no matter what, they're gonna be opposed. They're gonna hate it. It's not like it used to be, so they're just not gonna come around. And then I think some people probably didn't go because, it's a road course. I'm not into road courses, and then that left everybody else who thought it was super cool. But I think this caught people's attention, and maybe there was a bit much of the hype. But, man, did it pay off. And I think I would be surprised if next year that place isn't packed if they do this thing. They got to do this Roval thing again and again and again.
Yes. No, I think they will. I think it was a success generally. Talked to Race Guitar earlier. He said yes. You're saying yes. I'm saying yes. We're all saying yes. Gio's saying yes. But let me ask you this. Just to go on the other side. Homestead has a road course in the infield as well. Should we do it there too?
Well, here's the problem. You can't do it everywhere. Otherwise, there's the novelty gone.
There it is. And Homestead's Oval is just fantastic racing. 4 wide, 5 wide, 6 wide, high groove,
when
low
they
groove.
Did the variable banking, because prior to that it was a mini Indy, and it was kind of a little bit terminal because it wasn't big enough.
Homestead's Oval is one of the best ovals on the tour, plus the sun has absolutely worn that place out, and we always have great racing, and so no need to improve the great racing already.
Now, I would like to see them do a couple more. Not a lot, but a couple. This might be a cure for Indy itself. Think about that. If nobody's going, put them on the road course there. Maybe that'll draw people in.
Well, exactly. And here's one for you. You want to hear something crazy that I think is insanity, but he keeps telling me, and Carlos Hawkins stuff advocates for the Daytona road course instead of the Firecracker 400. He goes, that's an iconic road course, man. People around the world know that road course. That's where they run the Rolex 24, man. That Daytona road course is spectacular. He goes, why not use it? People love it. And I go, because Daytona is one of the best races of the year. Why not do it twice? He goes, why do anything twice? And so there's someone making an argument for it. Now, I disagree with that, but he's making an argument.
I disagree as well, but the Firecracker as a Roval.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No. Yeah, still, that's a hard one to give up. My actual thought was, so keep Charlotte, do Indy, and do maybe Vegas, because, ain't all that.
Interesting.
And if they're going to get 2 races, make one of them, and give us a Roval. How about that? So you got an East Coast, you got a Midwest, and you got a West Coast.
You want a West Coast Roval. There it is, just like we did with 4 wide. We did a West Coast, and that's the same company too. I think it was a success. I don't know about behind the scenes. I have to talk to somebody up there at Speedway Motorsports. But here's to them for having the guts to try something that was against the grain and new, and I think they deserve it. Good
right?
call.
Absolutely. Because everybody is so against road courses, but yet it was great. It was I just can't say enough about it.
Wow, there you go. And you're a longtime fan. Anything else, Rich? Anything else on your mind that we need to know about?
Let's see. How does Valtteri Bottas feel about having to pull over yesterday?
Yeah, not good. Unhappy.
But, big picture, he wasn't the one going to be winning a championship, so got to kind of get out of the way and let Lewis win his, and then Valtteri can win all the rest of the races.
That's exactly what I think is going to happen, because as soon as Lewis locks down the championship, he's going to mentally check out,
Right.
And he's going to be, he's going to be pulling a Kimi somewhere. And Bottas will have free reign to win as many races as he would like. But, hey, while we got you on the line, let's do the Haas F1 report. Where the big news of the week, Kevin Magnussen did score points, and so points were gotten. But the big news is that Haas F1 team will retain its driver lineup of Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen for the 2019 Formula One World Championship. Grosjean has been with Haas F1 since 2016. Magnussen joined in 2017. And the 2019 season will mark Grosjean's 9th year in Formula One, Magnussen's 5th. From the very beginning, we needed experienced drivers to hasten the development of our car and our team, and we have had two very good experienced drivers in Grosjean and Magnussen. We've improved dramatically from last year to this year, so retaining both drivers was a pretty easy decision, says Gunther Steiner. For or against? Giovanni?
I'm for it. I was against it earlier, and I know I said that I think the car now is better than Romain, whatever he wants to call himself. Romain, I believe, is like the lettuce appropriate. Or it's Roman Grosjean.
Well, there is a lettuce called romaine lettuce. So
absolutely,
you're correct.
So
on
either
both
way,
fronts.
He helped get us to where we're at, and I'm not against them giving him another year and figuring it out. And then maybe next year, if things aren't going as we desire, maybe bring in one or two new drivers or whatever is appropriate. But in the end, there's something to be said about keeping the consistency of the team together and trying to make the car a little bit better for both of them.
There you go. What about you, Rich?
I believe I'm similar to Gio, but I'm not as much in favor of Grosjean. I mean, he hasn't been that well the last couple of years.
Didn't score a point
Certainly
yesterday.
Not this year.
Yeah.
Right. Magnussen I'm okay with. I just wish we could have got, like Ricardo or somebody. Maybe I'm just grasping at straws, trying to find some talent out there that could boost us up a little bit.
Somebody that can take
somebody in the future, some young kid who's like get a year or two away from coming up to the bigs, and maybe that'll be the answer.
We're 11 points behind Renault for fourth in the constructors, which is the best of the rest. Mercedes 495, Ferrari 442, Red Bull 292, and then back to double digits with Renault 91 and Haas at 80. And we have got a pretty solid lead on McLaren Renault. I think the 11 points is doable. We need both drivers to get points. And that means Roman Grosjean, they've got to drive a smart race. We got to get points, and I think we can get that fourth position, which would be unbelievable. And actually, nobody would have thought it's possible at the start of the season.
Right, and think about how many, even a couple years ago when the team was just starting, who would have thought then that they could possibly reach fourth?
Nobody. Zero. This is the greatest story in American motorsports really right now, and it's unfortunate that we're paying attention, but I don't think everybody else is paying attention the way they should. That an American company has put together a Formula One team and gone out into the world competition and is doing exceptionally well.
Not just doing it, but saying, hey, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
You watch. And, they stepped up and put their money where their mouth was.
We're America.
Damn it.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking something else, but, I don't want to go. Everybody can insert their own word there.
Yacht.
Right. Whatever you think. Whatever is appropriate, folks. Put it there. We're
There's
America.
There's a song that runs through my head that goes America. Oh, yeah. Never mind.
Exactly. Well, all right, Rich. We're very good. Very good. I think it's great. So you go work. You go talk to the missus. You try to work on that situation. We'll hold a pair of tickets for you for the next 48 hours.
Okay.
You know what? I
also got some news about the finals, the NHRA finals. We may actually be there on Sunday.
No way. You're a Saturday only guy. But you're Saturday only.
No, I'm usually Saturday and Sunday. But I think we're going to come back from our family obligation Saturday afternoon, and we may have a whole squad of Rich and Sauguses at the
family
one will
reunion?
be Joey and Saugus.
The Saugus
So,
family reunion will be happening.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, somebody just drag everybody out there.
Well, I think that's great. The finals this year are going to be, fantastic. I imagine the championships are going to go down to the final race and maybe even the final rounds of the final race. I'm going to be excited to be there and hang out and, have a good time. And it's just, great stuff. And hopefully I won't fall ill like I did this last time out there.
And we're going to make sure everybody has shoes that stay on their feet because, we're walking the track.
Absolutely. Don't wear shower shoes.
Nope.
No, definitely. Here's one for you. I want to tell everybody, and I'll tell you since you're on the line. On NHRA Nitro this week, Daryl Gwynn is coming on the show. Daryl with that wonderful induction into the Hall of Fame. But he's got something cool going on that is totally unrelated, and I want everybody to know about it because I want you to go to Facebook, official Daryl Gwynn, and check this thing out. It's going to be spectacular, and I think you're going to love it. On Thursday, between 9 a.m. and noon, and I know that's a big window, but they don't know exactly when it's going to happen, probably closer to noon. Furniture Row Racing has a legitimate Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race car that they have outfitted with a passenger seat. And the passenger seat is for people with spinal cord injuries and veterans to take rides with Martin Truex at the wheel. And so Daryl Gwynn, who obviously has a spinal cord injury and was involved in a horrific racing accident years ago, has a couple of times been in race cars and gotten the opportunity to go around the track. He did Daytona, but he said, to go even 150 at Daytona with no other cars on the track, it's kind of like you and me being on the highway. It's not like a big deal. But at Dover, Daryl is super fired up about this. And so Daryl is going to get to take a ride with Truex driving, and Truex has promised to try to scare him, to give it everything he possibly can. And Daryl is stoked about it. Well, they're going to Facebook Live the thing. And it's going to be Daryl's first ever Facebook Live. And I don't know how they're going to do it and how they're going to handle it. But everyone should go to official Daryl Gwynn and like the page and be ready on Thursday morning at sometime between 9 and noon Eastern, probably closer to noon. That's the word that I've gotten, to watch Daryl Gwynn go around the Monster Mile with Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series champion, that's his new first name, Martin Truex Jr. at the wheel, trying to scare him. And so we'll see what happens.
That's perfect. That's right in line with my morning break at work.
There you go. Isn't that
How much
great?
better can that get?
Not much better. And I'm happy for Daryl. Obviously, a guy who's loves speed and has not been able to enjoy too much speed. And for Martin to take him out there and for Furniture Row to put together a car that they can do that, not just Daryl, but others and veterans, they're going to have a whole morning program. That's what they're going to be doing out there at Dover this Thursday. And I am going to be watching my Facebook Live for that to come down the pike.
Now, is he going first? Is he the test monkey?
He's
Is
not
he
going first,
know?
and I recommended that he not go first. I think that he should wait so they get the car dialed in so that Martin can get confident and feel like, okay, this is what's happening, so that he should try to go not quite last, but near last.
Right. So once he get right. Once Martin's got the feel of the car, got it all set up for him. Yeah. I like that idea.
I do too. No, it's going to be really cool and obviously a special moment. There'll be Facebook. I said to him, it's too bad there's no way everybody can enjoy themselves watching you. And he's like, there is, and they've got it all planned out.
Nice.
Yeah, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Well, all right, Rich, I will see you in a few weeks out there at the Auto Club Finals. That's on my schedule, and I'm intending on going there. And so that is the plan. The tickets, you just let us know, unless everybody emails Joe at WFOradio.com and snatches them away from you.
No, you will not snatch them away from me. Okay, I can't really say that. I cannot.
There you go. No, I understand.
I can't be sincere.
I know. That's too harsh. It's too harsh.
It is what it is.
Anyway.
Although, I do have to say, I did just set my fantasy team for the rest of the season, and Yeah, well, I'm either going to be super awesome successful, or I am going to be just above all the guys who have stopped playing.
Extend the season. Extend the season. You're putting in your best guys, your final guys. You set a final team, and you're just going to let it fly. I like this strategy. I did that last week, and I finished second. I'm going to leave it. Set it and forget it, baby. WFO.
I did that last week, and now I'm behind you.
Yeah, well, I'm making a big charge towards the front, man. Come on now. This is me. This is what I do every year. Where did you finish this? Let's see. Where are you? Rich and Saugus. There it is, 49.
Spots behind you.
Down 6, 49. That's right. I blew right by you. I gained 9, and you dropped 6th. And just like that, you're nothing.
But
and Team
you're
Gray,
only 11 points
53rd.
ahead. I think it's 11 points.
Yeah, that's it. That doesn't matter.
Still within reach. Still easily within reach.
That is so true. That is so true. All right, Rich, thank you very much.
No, thank you, Mr. Hall of Fame.
Appreciate it. All right, very good. How about that? Say hi to Joey.
I will do. WFO, guys.
WFO.
There goes Rich and Saugus. Weighing in. We had Race Qatar. He was on for, Craig was on for 20 minutes. Race Qatar, 22 minutes.
Woo.
Rich and Saugus, 24 minutes.
And just like that, the show's at a 2 hour.
And that's it. That's it. 2-hour show. You said we were going to do 15 minutes. Now we're doing 2 hours.
Look at that.
They love the entertainment. That's what they say. I was on the iTunes checking out the reviews. I think we have 30 reviews.
Ooh, look at that.
That's good.
Got to get that up. Got to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Yes. If you are a listener and you're enjoying the program and you're thinking these guys are all right, go to iTunes, sign in, or wherever you get your podcasts, sign in, write a review, please. Positively would be the idea. But also the app, the WFO app, which is working so well. Is everybody loving the app?
See.
The app is going really well. And we're about to make a change thanks to one of our listeners. I think it was Sean who recommended we put the podcast on YouTube. That is going to happen, which you will also be able to get through the WFO app if everything works properly. So we continue to expand. The audio show for the ages. All right, anything? What else do we need to do here? Like work?
Did we do our Haas report?
No, we did. The Haas F1 report was basically, we gave the points, we gave the thing. Oh, yeah, I know. Everyone's favorite show within a show. SportsCollision.
SportsCollision. Well, we're going to start with what's hot and topic, and I'm not going to mention, it's the baseball games that happened today. 2 baseball, game 163. We had 2 ties in the National League, one in the West between the Dodgers and the Rockies, and one in the Central between the Cubbies and the Brewers. So we had 2 one-game elimination to decide. It wasn't really like an elimination. It was more for seeding because all 4 teams were advancing. It's just a matter of who's going to be the division winners and the wild card teams. And so, since the games did occur today, we already know that the Dodgers won the second game, and the Cubbies lost the first game to Milwaukee. Therefore,
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. I guess if that's how you want to say it.
And so now what's going to happen is Colorado is going to play the Cubs. Colorado will play the Cubs.
That's right.
In the wild card
game. The Cubbies will be at home, and Colorado will travel tomorrow, Tuesday evening, 8 o'clock, so I guess Tuesday night, will be the Cubs hosting Colorado for the wild card, and therefore Milwaukee and the Dodgers each win. The Dodgers will get the winner of that wild card game. Milwaukee will go to Atlanta.
And there you go.
That's the National League. The American League, on Wednesday, we have the Oakland A's visiting our New York Yankees. And the winner of that will go on Friday to Boston. And on the other side, it's Cleveland is going to Houston. And so the first round, the wild card, and the ALDS is not quite set, but we have an idea, of the wild card winners will go to the number 1 seed in each league.
Wow. Let me ask you, are you nervous? What do you think? Yankees 1-game playoff. Obviously, we want them to win. We don't have any control. We're clearly going to be watching the game on Wednesday night. How could everybody in the world other than Oakland A's fans not want to see Red Sox Yankees?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I wouldn't say nervous, a little concerned. Oakland has closed out the season on a monster tear. And they're a team.
Who do you want to start?
Well, I believe the way it hasn't actually been announced yet. I've been scouring. And
Hap.
They've been keeping it quiet. I'm beginning to think it looks like it might be Sevy.
I heard some people make a big case for Sevy. I'm nervous about that. I don't know.
And he'll be on a very short leash, much like last year, where he gave up those 3 runs in the first inning, and Girardi had the foresight to get him out of there, and we went to a bullpen, and Chad Green came on and held it, and it was a bullpen game, and we were able to come back and get the victory in that Minnesota game last year in advance, and somehow crawl back from being down 0-2 against Cleveland, which was the best team in the league last year, and we found a way to win them.
The bats are awake. I feel good. We just, we need solid starting pitching. I don't think we can fall behind 4 runs, 6 runs. And is Aaron Boone going to know when to bring out the hook the way Girardi did?
I definitely think that he got a good I'm sure he got together with Cash and he got a strategy going. But I would say that whoever it is, the pitcher on Wednesday night, is going to be on a very short leash.
Everybody's available. This is it. This is single elimination.
Available.
Whatever you got to do.
And if we have such a strong bullpen, well, we might as well just get into it as soon as we have to.
Empty the tank, and if we can win the game, then good for us. Good on us.
Yeah, so right now, Wednesday. By the way, I have discovered yesterday that there's a little league game that starts at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, at 7:30 actually.
That's
so I more than
ridiculous.
likely won't be home till like pushing 9 o'clock.
Oh, my goodness.
So this game will more than likely start around 8:10. So
what kind of little league programs their games against the Major League Baseball playoffs?
First and foremost, I am against the 7:30 start time for 7-year-olds playing baseball.
Totally.
I mean, the games last about an hour, hour and 15. And so
kids are getting
8:30, 9 o'clock.
9.
Right. I mean, these are second graders.
All wound up. They can't go to sleep until 11.
Well, that's the least of it. It's not even
Stunting
all
their
wound
growth.
up, but you got to, we generally try to feed him before the game, at least like a big the dinner meal. Yeah. But he's, by 9 o'clock, he's still awake. He needs a snack. He needs to take a bath because they're covered in dirt, infield clay.
Filth.
And, yeah, just completely against the 7:30 start time. It should be no later than 6 o'clock, maybe even a 7 o'clock that runs till 8 o'clock. But the 7:30 pushes that game. We're not even leaving the field till 9 o'clock at night. In my opinion, way too late for kids. But different story for another time. Moving on. NFL. Another great weekend of NFL games. Perfect segue for Gio picked the winner. We gave one game out last week. We gave Oakland -2.5 against Cleveland. And while it didn't look that way most of the game, Cleveland was winning, had a nice lead. The Raiders were able to come back and steal a victory in overtime and bring it home for the pick of the week.
There it is. That's 2-0 now. I
yes.
think. 2-0, 2 picks.
New England makes a statement, as Joe mentioned earlier. The Dolphins, it's real disappointing in the sense that they didn't show up. Like, I kind of had the feeling that they were going to lose, but I didn't expect it to be just a complete
beatdown.
I mean, I don't know. It was horrible offensively. They were like in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 13 every single drive. And while it seemed like if they were in the game early, I think it was just too much for their defense. And New England turned into New England and showed us why Tom Brady has never lost to the Dolphins at home. By the way. Yeah. The Dolphins have the only time they beat New England in Foxborough since 2001 was the year that he was out with the bum leg. So that's actually pretty incredible in itself. So stuff like that. Quickly just running through there was a great Thursday night game. The Rams, we mentioned them briefly last week. They look like the greatest show on turf again. What an indictment on a guy that I always liked, Jeff Fisher. I mean, this team looked horrible with him running it, and now basically just with a young offensive mastermind, they look world beaters. The Bears, Mitchell Trubisky, 6 touchdowns yesterday. Oh, my goodness. They looked great. This Khalil Mack guy, oh, boy. I'm sure the Raiders are wishing they would have just paid him the money. Falcons, very entertaining, all offense, no D. They find a way to lose another game in the fourth quarter. And Julio Jones, clearly a great receiver, but poor Matty Ice did his best he can. The Falcons just have way too much defensive injuries, and they're toast. The only way they can win games is scoring 40 points a game. Cleveland, I mentioned briefly, while they did lose, it's great to see that while I was wrong and didn't think that Baker Mayfield was going to turn out to be a great NFL quarterback, I don't want to say he's going to be great yet, but Cleveland, interesting, compelling, and fun to watch. Baker Mayfield can make all the moves. And finally, we're going to last NFL here. The Colts and Houston. Frank Reich looking to get himself fired or I don't know what. I am all for being aggressive. But on 4th and 4 from your own 43-yard line with 27 seconds left in overtime of a tie game and you have 0 timeouts left, which means that even if you make this, you have to get at least another 25, realistically 30 yards to get within field goal range with 27 seconds and no timeouts. They decide to go for it. They don't make it. So Houston just has the ball right there already in Indy territory. They run 2 plays and kick a field goal, and now Indy lost. And now I know we want to play for wins and we're not playing for ties, but I'm sorry, after a 4-hour football game, it's better to leave there without a loss than with a loss, even if it's not a win.
Extend the game. 4th down. What do you do? Extend
in your own territory. And by the way,
game.
I get it. I understand being aggressive. It's great. But Andrew Luck was without his 2 best receivers who had gotten injured throughout the game. And it's just, I'm sorry. I don't understand how you could just do that at that point. You have essentially given up on the game. You have made it, if we don't make this play, we're going to lose the game.
Bringing the game down to 1 play, which is exactly what we were talking about. Jimmie Johnson bringing the championship down to 1 corner.
And it really frosts me because it ruined me. I was going to have a killing because I had that as the last piece of a 4-team.
Like 12-team parlay.
No, it was actually just a 4-teamer, and obviously all the other 3 won. But we're looking at, it was, almost in the 4-digit win category. And instead, I even the push, the tie game, I would have had a win. I got it at a +1 at the end. Indy was -1 earlier in the week. It went to +1, so a tie was great. Would have been great for me.
That's a bad beat story. What does the Giovanni react like? Like, what's the reaction like when that happens?
Well, I don't know. We were at the sports bar. I don't know if you realize I was paying close attention to that game and not some of the others. And I just, I don't even want to say. I wanted to eat a bullet. That's what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to send it over there to Frank Reich.
Oh my God!
The mastermind of the greatest comeback history of that Buffalo Miracle back in the day. Anyway, enough about the NFL. NFL has been entertaining, and I'll quickly gloss over Pat Mahomes. This kid is MVP looking. I know it's only 4 games into the season, and he has a very small sample size.
Kansas City,
but the kid has been out of control, breaking all kinds of records. Most touchdowns in first 3 games, most touchdowns in first 4 games. And the Kansas City offense has looked pretty much unstoppable. Very good because their defense sucks too.
For you golf fans, the United States lost the Ryder Cup in a beatdown. We were humiliated.
Absolutely.
17.5 to 10.5.
We normally don't watch Ryder Cup, although we do root for all that stuff.
I'm a Ryder Cup guy.
Yeah, no, it was terrible.
This weekend I was not focused on it.
Tiger's tired, man. He just got a win. First win in 5 years.
Yeah, Tiger and Phil. Just not a lot of
And other stuff going on. I did notice that the NBA foreplay started. I don't really watch NBA until around Christmas time.
Yeah.
These are, games that don't count anyway. And another great college football weekend. And we could quickly segue into Joe was at the game. And
Turnover chain.
Wow. Which, for those of you that don't know, just Google turnover chain. And there are many fakes and frauds out there that now want their own turnover, whatever, whether it's a purse or backpack or whatever they have at FSU. Somebody's got, Tulane's got beads for the Mardi Gras. I don't know if you ever got a chance to watch that video I sent you.
No.
Where the guy
fake
does the
turnover chains?
That the turnover chain trademark and that the U started it. And he went over all the other.
Did you text me that? Or
I did send that on a text.
So it's in there. I'll have to watch it. Well, listen, first of all, I went to the stadium, And my experience, Paulie the white guy, season ticket holder, asked me if I wanted to go to the game. So, yes, I want to go to the game.
Well, we knew. I think I yelled at you guys about, wait, what about me?
And I asked you if you wanted to go to the game.
But, I mean, you mentioned it,
I found out a day before.
No, it was the morning of.
No, you found out the morning of. I found out a day before.
Right. But nonetheless, at that point, I had to make arrangements. I can't leave work at 6 o'clock and be down here at 7.
Yeah, you could have been down here at 7:45, 8 o'clock.
But I would have had to have gone home to make arrangements. I'm not going to go to a football game dressed the way I go to work.
Why not?
Because it's probably 1,000 degrees out there, and I'm wearing
not
pants
in the air-conditioned
and dress shoes
club
and
level where we
shirt.
were at. It was beautiful.
Either way, dude, I have to make arrangements with my wife, my kid, baseball, and all sorts of stuff.
It's water
that
over the
I need
bridge.
at least a day in advance. I just can't. It can't be on a 2-hour basis. And by the way, it was a maybe until I'll tell you a little later on, and so it was even less than the window.
Listen,
but nonetheless, you were there. The stadium looks beautiful on TV, super loud. The announcers were making reference as to how loud it was, and it was great. John Vilma, former Hurricane, was of New Orleans Saints Bounty Gate fame, who actually beat Goodell in the NFL in his case. Goodell picked on the wrong guy, man.
Vilma put that thump on him.
He sure did. He was great in the booth. And if you didn't know that he went to UM, you just seemed like he was just excited to be calling that game. But knowing that what we know, I felt like if he was in there giving fist pumping and rooting.
Well, I can tell you this. First of all, Dolphin Stadium previously, the stadium formerly known as Joe Robbie Stadium,
absolutely,
was always a beautiful stadium and cutting edge. But as with everything gets old. And so the new owner, Stephen Ross, initially tried to get the taxpayer to pay for renovations because the NFL said, we're not going to put the Super Bowl there because the stadium is not modern and brand new. And we thought that was kind of crazy because our stadium was still very, very nice. But that's the NFL's way of shaking everybody down. And so then the Dolphins come to the local community and try to shake them down. The local community said, get bent. No. And so they instead figured out a different way to do it. They redid the deal and came up with something that was acceptable to everybody. And so they redid the Dolphin Stadium with a roof as opposed to...
With a canopy. Really,
with a canopy, kind of like Wembley Stadium, I think is what they want it over there in England.
I get it.
And
now, just quickly, to be fair,
yes,
the public had just been robbed
for Marlins
by
Park.
The previous Marlins owners,
yes,
and the county commissioners.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And everyone was like, no matter what. So they redid the deal, and the specifics not coming to me exactly, but only for big events and this and that, and the money's coming from different places. The owner's putting up a lot more money on his own, whatever. So they build this cover. This stadium is got to be the most visually striking thing that you're going to see because the walk-up with that big disc over the top of it is fantastic. And the Canes fans, and I walked up, and there's girls, and they're doing body shots, and they had the big ice thing where they put the shot down the ice, and it snakes down, and it was just a great atmosphere, tailgating, and he's got tickets in this Hyundai Club, which down like the bowels of the stadium, they made this nice club, and we're in the first level, and great seats, and everybody's going crazy, and it was a good time. Plus, we got to go up in the club level. I had one of their, like steakhouse-style burgers, which was okay. Not really a steakhouse-style burger, but it was really good. The whole experience was fantastic. And then the game started. Turnover chain. The turnover chain is the greatest single innovation in sports. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, it is a huge motivator to these players. Every football player feels a little upset that they have to wear the helmet and people can't see their face and they don't know who they are and they're a little anonymous, The turnover chain gives you this opportunity to be like coronated, to be crowned in front of your fellow team and you get to celebrate. Number two, it is really strategic in that it gets the players off the field. It makes them want to come back to the sideline. There is no unnecessary celebration. There's no penalties for taunting. There's none of that. You cause a turnover, you run right back to the sidelines so that you can receive your reward and be coronated with the turnover chain. Now the chain itself. It is gaudy and Miami, and that is Well, it's perfect for
It's
where
a
it is.
giant Cuban link.
Cuban link. Last year was a U. This year it's
Right,
Sebastian
the U logo,
the
and
Ibis.
this year's Sebastian the Ibis, who looks even bigger than the U. It had sapphires and emeralds or something now. Now it's just like this gold figure with like laser beams, like the Colossus.
It's as gaudy and crazy in your face as possible, and that is what Miami is all about. That is what it's all about.
It's just so appropriate.
If
it
you
really is.
are like understated and, you know, I don't want to use the word meek, but demure and meek and, you know, like not really craving of attention, Miami not really your spot. Maybe you'd be better suited in, you know, I don't know.
This is the place for that fluorescent green Lambo.
It really
Right?
is.
Yes, not the yellow, not the white one or the red one the fluorescent green one.
Turnover chain, and the crowd goes wild. I'm sitting there in my seat, minding my own business, and this like 3 kids, college kids, come down, and they come down and sit in front of me, and they turn back and they go, "Has the chain been out yet?" They're like, "Yeah, the chain has been out twice." And they're like, "Yeah, the chain. It's got its whole thing. It's created its own energy, the turnover chain." But the best part, the University of Miami has been around a long time. People don't realize. They think
1925, I believe.
it's come around, when Howard Schnellenberger turned the team around in the 1980s, and then Jimmie Johnson got there. And there are a lot of very old and elderly Canes fans, really old.
And I know where you're going with this because I've seen them.
All over the stadium. I saw 10. I saw 12. I saw 15. The turnover chain is its own thing, like Mickey Mouse. It's got its own life. And there are T-shirts, like a black T-shirt with the chain printed on the T-shirt, right? But also, they sell the chain. You can buy the chain.
Well, you know.
A plastic version.
Yes.
A replica.
Like a replica.
A plastic replica. Old ladies love the plastic replica turnover chain. And so you see an old woman with a walker with tennis balls on the walker so she can shuffle it along. And there's an oxygen tank. And she is wearing this
like the commercial I love
gaudy
so much.
turnover chain Cuban link. And it's just fantastic. It is its own thing. They've created their own so Miami, it can only happen in Miami thing. I had a great time. Enjoyed a lot. Had a good time at the game. Had a great time at the Canes game. And just beat down North Carolina like a humiliation.
Very nice.
Take that, Don O'Neill.
and all of you friends in the Charlotte area.
Yes.
Although actually, it's in Chapel Hill, not in Charlotte.
Well, what I was thinking of doing is getting a turnover chain shirt and wearing it up to Charlotte for the Carolina Nationals.
Right.
Carolina
Not the
Nationals.
4-white.
But maybe I should get the actual chain.
Yeah, one of those replicas, definitely.
But, we're going to lose before then, I'm sure. I don't know. The team looked pretty good.
Maybe not.
Team
Maybe
looked pretty
not.
good.
I think, FSU coming up next week, and FSU's a little down, and
huge.
it's a rivalry game, and I expect them to win that game.
The defense, let me tell you. I mean, was it a one-off or what was it? But it was wild. Come on, 3 turnovers for touchdowns.
Yep.
That's got to be, I don't know if it's a record, but it's got to be something close.
Yeah, I don't know if it is
6
either,
turnovers
but
and
6
3 for
turnovers.
touchdowns. But anyway, good times at the game. So it was a good weekend. I had a good weekend. All right, let's finish.
That's it.
That's it.
Bring it home.
All right, everybody. Remember, we got these great sponsors, audible.com/WFO Ignition and WFO Nitro. You'll have to choose which show you want to support. That's fine. Everybody else.
Just support. That's it.
In the sponsorship world, you can go to the website, see everybody, gifts, road acts. We'll be meeting up Thursday at the downtown Ennis, Texas Motorplex. I'm scheduled to be there. Certainly hope to be. Great times. Everybody who posted on my Facebook page about the Hall of Fame, thank you very much. Honored, blown away. Don't feel very deserving, but I did. Was there. I was the last announcer. I was a track champion out there. I've done okay since. I've spent a whole lot of money in that place.
You do all right for yourself.
They're going to build a monument out there.
Yeah, I heard.
They're going to build a monument to the track in the city of Pembroke Pines, which is crazy and shocking. Great show. Thanks to all our callers. People called in. We got what? We got 3 calls.
Yes, we did.
And one was a celebrity NHRA racer.
It sure was.
So, like, we're doing good.
We do all right for a couple of losers from down in South Florida.
So true. So true. Definitely losers in South Florida. So share the show, write a review, buy something from one of our sponsors, do that deal, and we'll see you out there at the Texas Motorplex this weekend. Next weekend, NASCAR, headed to Dover. A little too early in the week to make picks, but hopefully you enjoy the show. And remember, Daryl Gwynn's
we'll do a
Facebook
pick
Live.
show.
Well, we think. I'll do a pick show. It might not make it to the air.
No. Look, maybe we could get together and do the pick show like we normally do and just fill in the spots.
Got it.
And we'll try it that way.
I like it. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. See you next time. WFO!
The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
Real nice, Gio.